Hey, for the 9th consecutive year, Nick, JetBlue Airlines ranked first for satisfaction among all North American airlines. But you know what ranked least in satisfaction? 9/11 Airlines. What a terrible name for an airline. It reminds me of that tragedy.
Oh, 9/11.
Yeah, don't laugh at 9/11
What?
again. I tried to tell him not
Way
to
to go,
laugh.
Adam.
I know. I walked through blood and bones in the streets of Manhattan trying to find my brother.
Jesus.
Yeah, he was in northern Canada.
Alright, 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 alright. Alright, 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 alright. I never listen, I'm gonna listen. I wanna listen to the dumb zone.
Well, hello there. It's Thursday. It's pre-weekend. And this is show number 251 of the Dumb Zone. I'm Jay Kemp.
I'm Blake Jones.
I'm Dan. I'm not lying.
Dan Balls. Did anybody ever call you Dan?
Yeah, family members,
They don't do Daniel?
some. Yeah,
Here,
it's
just-
mostly Danny, but
Just,
yeah, I get
just
both.
because Danny wants it.
Everybody, give a warm welcome to today's special guest host, Danny Heavy Metal Bayless.
Now, for a period of time, I did go by my middle name that's on my birth certificate, which is, in fact, Heavy Metal.
Yeah. Yeah. So Danny's in for Dan today. Dan is headed to Cleveland.
Do we know why exactly?
No, he's a very mysterious man. I know initially he was going to go to Parents' Weekend, perhaps up in Ithaca, but he's going to Cleveland. All he said was to see my mom, which felt very fantasy hockey folder because I've never heard him say he was just going to see his mom. So dubious.
Is that what you told your family when you went to Matamoros that one time?
I was off the air. But plenty of people know about the trip to Matamoros and what transpired. But no, I do know that Dan.
Sounds like a tasty trip.
Okay, it wasn't me, to be clear, to all involved. Dan does have the equipment to join us, so I think he's going to do that tomorrow, at least for picks. Then I believe he's also going to do that on Monday to some degree to give us his review of his experience on Sunday afternoon, as he has finagled his way, as Dan will do, into a suite for Browns Bengals.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Old radio connections?
Sort of. Yeah, I think so. But I don't remember the last time. I mean, I guess Rangers night, which I wasn't there, so it doesn't count, much like the flag football team's losses when I wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the last time I saw Dan sit in a seat.
I was just thinking that.
Like last time he went to a Browns game. Well, first of all, last time I went to a Browns game, he didn't go. The time before that, he sat in the Spanish play-by-play booth with our friend there. That was actually the night that Myles Garrett hit Mason Rudolph with a helmet. He was there for that. Mason Rudolph allegedly said the N-word to Myles Garrett. And, Steelers-Browns, big rivalry. And Myles Garrett, what was the suspension? It was like the rest of the year, wasn't it?
Yeah. But it was pretty light.
Well, he could have killed him.
Right.
So, but Dan was there for that. Mavs games that we go to, always a suite. He won't go without it. So, yeah, he's headed to the suite. And other than that, I don't know what he's doing out there. I think it's just him. I don't think he's with the fam. A little weird.
It's kind of funny. The guy that feels so much Larry David when it comes to hiring somebody to mow his yard because he doesn't want to be thought of as anything other than a common man.
Right.
Will only attend a sporting event if he's
all that is bullshit.
Sweet.
That's all a front.
Yeah, it's cover.
Trust me.
Yeah. He's pretty bougie.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess people do it, but the whole your wife, and your kids eat at a different takeout spot when you go get dinner.
He makes 3 trips.
Yeah.
If his daughters are in town,
Yeah.
he goes to 3 different spots when he gets takeout.
And maybe that shouldn't be considered bougie because probably the overall cost is the same, but it feels there's
about
something
time?
about it. Yeah, time.
Do you think he schedules the pickup to where he picks up his food last so it's the
probably.
warmest?
Yeah.
If he's the one going to get it, yeah,
Mhm.
for sure.
So we do have a lot today, I guess. I think
sorry,
we're supposed to say that.
Whereas Jake will just go pick up food at one place, but not tell anybody and eat an entire medium from Pizza Hut on the way home.
I've done that.
So he doesn't have to, be starving after his wife orders a round of veggie delights from some Thai place.
I've done that.
Yeah.
I've definitely done that. I mean, obviously the old move for picking up food, which was certainly, I learned, was not the only one who had figured this hack out, was, nah, babe, I'll go get it.
Uh-huh.
And you got to get yourself a little cocktail or a beer up there. And I would see other guys who were literally doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And you know how I knew? Because their bag was in front of them.
Yeah.
It's like, it was ready when they got there. You're like, honey, it was a long wait. You just have a schooner.
And we've learned in the last month or so what a slippery slope that can lead to.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all of you guys out there
For
that
some.
are thinking you're being real wise asses for getting that sneaky cocktail while you're getting takeout.
Well, it's not even just a sneaky cocktail. It's that you seem like a good guy for being willing to get it.
Uh-huh.
I want to save us money on delivery.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
But I'm going to spend $14 on this old fashioned. while I'm
Well, that
waiting.
would have been old fashioned. Would have been a play. I can't say that I ever went top shelf cocktail, but we do have a bunch of Cowboys today. Of course, got some explosive viewer mail and news. We are here at our studio. I actually turned on DZ TV last night on my recording, my DVR.
Apparently, Variety says Bafo about DZ TV.
It looks so cool.
It does.
The open's amazing. Blake does a great job with that. Do I shout out Copeland some on that as well?
Depending on the day, yeah.
Yeah, it just looks cool.
Yeah.
I don't know, like my daughter's not impressed by it. I don't think my wife's impressed by it, but
Oh.
They're
I look
not
at
impressed by the fact that Dad's on effing television.
it. I don't know that, I don't know that no. The short answer is no.
I guess kids don't look at TV and being on TV maybe the way we did when we were younger.
Yeah, because
TV is just
and
it's
it's
just
not
another
that.
it's just another screen to them.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Everybody's on a screen.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because she can just look at me and be like, record this, and then
Yeah.
see like a 5K video of her dicking around or whatever.
Malcolm's the same way. I have to edit the end of every video that I take of him because when we're done filming the content that I want, he runs up. I want to see the video. I want to see the
Yeah.
video. Runs up and he has to see it immediately.
Let me see it.
Little
Let me see it.
narcissist.
Yeah. Are you going to put that on Instagram? I'm like, I don't have Instagram. Where are
Is-
you learning all this?
Is
There's the open.
Brooksy the same way when you guys do videos? He wants to see them immediately.
Kind of. He's not that outward about it, but yeah, there's definitely a time where we'll go through photos and
Oh, yeah.
do that whole.
I love
mess.
Dude, I got to meet Brooks for the first time at the ballpark show that we did.
Mm-hmm.
You and I, we all have boys that are relatively in the same age group. And you and I both admittedly have Tasmanian devils for sons.
Yeah.
That Brooksy,
Good kid.
oh my God. I was like,
Yeah.
this can happen?
Yeah. Well,
This is real?
I hate to say it as a woke liberal, but Blake has shared before that he's not afraid of the corporal punishment. And right now, the early returns are you and I might be doing this wrong.
I just got to learn respect a little bit.
I know.
Step out of line.
Use your words.
The thing is,
Carter, express
oh
yourself.
my God. One thing that I do know for sure, and this was not the case for me growing up, but my son is not afraid of me in any way whatsoever.
Yeah.
He feels that I am zero threat to anything that he wants to do, say.
Yeah.
The only thing that I can do is eliminate whatever immediate fun he is having by changing the scene or taking something away that he's enjoying, because he knows that's as bad as it's going to get.
Yeah. No, they find the boundary and then they just sort of live there.
He told me last night he enjoys driving daddy bananas. He told me. We're going to bed last night. Very conversational last night. It was great. And he goes, yeah, I really enjoy driving daddy bananas. I was like, well, you're fucking good at it, kid.
Well, you know how Dan has said kids can get you out of basically anything. And I thought he meant like a social event, something you don't want to do. But my 3-year-old got me out of a ticket this morning.
Oh, do tell.
Driving to daycare, had to get downtown. There's
What, he made you
stuff.
turn it off and listen to the fan because of all the Jerry stuff?
I got it, and I like it.
Okay. Okay.
I'm trying to enjoy the musers, man. Come on, Brooks.
Hey, we're allowed to say this now.
Yeah.
Does he have a meter?
No.
Dump that.
No. Doesn't have a meter. Can't talk about
You see,
ratings,
kids, a
can't talk about
personal people
anything.
meter is a little pager that. Anyway, go ahead,
And
Blake.
it produces an
Yeah.
entirely statistically sound sample.
Oh, man,
It
it's
can be
so
extrapolated
accurate.
across
Woo!
Not a guess.
hundreds
at
of
all.
thousands of people.
Yeah.
Mhm, for sure.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
So to
No need.
there's some construction on 544 in Wiley. It's all the buzz, okay? In Collin County.
Where? Oh, okay.
And so I had to go around that, and to do that, I had to go through a neighborhood. And I'm not the most respectful of stop signs.
What's wrong with you?
If there's no one around, I'll just do some peeking, and then I'll just keep it in second gear and just roll
With your
through.
kid in the car.
Yeah. Again,
You don't even do the rolling stop. You just kind of look both ways and gun it.
no, I mean, I'll slow down, but just take a peek. But I'm not coming to a complete stop if there's no one around. And I'm the bad guy?
Yes. Yes. I can't recall the last time I ran a stop sign.
I mean,
I just don't do it.
Complete stop?
Yeah, I mean, pretty
Okay.
close. I want to feel the rock back of the car.
No.
No, you don't.
I swear to God, I do.
Insane. That is such a waste.
Unless
of
I'm
time.
turning right.
I
Like
drive.
sometimes I'll start to break one off on the swing there, but
I drive like the most concerned old woman. Like I'm very good about adhering to the laws, but I still don't come to the complete rollback stop.
my wife will make fun of me too. Whether she's in the car, or if like we leave at the same time or we're in separate cars, it pisses her off.
Good. It
And I'll
should.
sit there for like a full second and
Jeez.
kind of just
Unreal.
check everything out.
Well, I didn't check my corners good enough this morning,
Good.
and a little policeman over there is waiting in the neighborhood. Knew exactly where to be. Knew what people like to do, because we have places to go. And sure
Yeah, it's
enough,
just you.
Kind of just. Look, we all have places to go. It's 8:00 in the morning. He knows what he's doing. He's being a dick.
That's why it's dangerous.
It's not dangerous. It's a stop sign. You need to grow up. Anyway, he catches me.
What an example you're setting.
Do the whole bit, pull over, but immediately I knew with Brooks in the back, I'm like, I know what I can do.
You telling me with special needs or something? I mean, everybody's got a kid.
No, he's just like, hey, you blew through a stop sign back there. Yeah, I know. And then I point to my kid in the back. He's like, we're in a big unbuckle our seatbelt phase, and I was trying to fiddle with him in the back, and I just quite wasn't paying attention.
Huh. Well, if your son's in a big unbuckle the seatbelt phase, it certainly makes sense to be breaking traffic laws.
Sounds to me like there should be 2 tickets issued.
Yeah.
No, Brooks is a model citizen. He doesn't do that, but I just thought I'd.
You lied.
So
So now,
not only
blame
did
on
you
him
run
a
the
little
stop sign, but your kid is not properly restrained.
and if he
And
is,
is that marijuana I
you just
smell?
told me he was, which I believe they call obstruction of justice. And I believe that because I don't know what it really means.
Well, shout out to Brooks. Right place, right time.
Shout out to Wiley PD.
They're on it, man.
Did you give him a sticker?
No, but he saw mine. That's probably why I got out of it.
Yeah, probably so. I had 2 things this morning that I took care of. The first one, I told Danny this last night. I heard you guys had a lively discussion about this topic when I was away. I went to the dentist,
Mm-hmm.
and that is the longest I've ever gone without a dentist appointment in my life, which was almost 1.5 years. I've been a twice-a-year guy since I was able to go to the dentist. And that's probably lucky because I guess through my parents and then through my wife, or the small gaps I had in insurance, I didn't need to go to the dentist if it was 4 or 5 months here and there. And I felt terrible about it. So I went, and I do brush 2 or 3 times a day with a good brush. I'm not great about flossing.
You go full electric, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
The Sonicare. Not expensive, but she's like, oh, everything's perfect. She's like, doesn't look like a year and a half off hurt you at all. I've never had a cavity. And it made me think, like, is the twice a year thing like the 3,000-mile oil change?
That's what we talked about.
Because I heard you went a decade,
Yeah.
which is insane.
Same. I did the same thing and up until about a year and a half ago.
If it's all insurance related, it's all insurance related.
No, it's pure effing ignorance, neglect, and laziness on my part.
More of that.
Yeah.
I do have the insurance in my back pocket I didn't have it, but
Have you not always had your wife's insurance?
no, she's a contract nurse.
Dental insurance is like $11 a month.
And now I see
Nice.
that card leaving Blake's back pocket.
Again, it's more of what Danny said.
Did you have a bunch of problems? Did I miss out on this?
No. I mean, the deep cleaning sucked.
It hurt?
Oh, yeah. I mean, even with the numbing gel, but I just hadn't gone so long, and I'm not a great flosser. So there was a lot
Do you
of...
brush every day?
Yeah,
Twice a day?
once.
Why once?
Because I don't want to brush in the morning again. Like in my awake time, I brushed like an hour ago. So I'll do the mouthwash in the morning.
You know all the nasty stuff that just accumulates in your mouth overnight? One, as you well know, Americans on average eat 145 spiders in their sleep a year.
No, they don't. Shut
A
up.
year.
No, that's true.
That's like one every other night, bro.
Yeah, well, you got to catch up.
Spiders.
Have you never seen those
Dumbest
statistics?
thing you've ever said.
Like, have you never seen that where they try to tell you, like, oh, people accidentally swallow 8 spiders a year or something
Okay, well,
like
then
that.
they're not getting on my teeth.
You got to brush twice a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, bacteria that's in your mouth, a lot of it is actually really good. So
I like this one.
some people,
Help.
some health experts will say that rinsing your mouth with an alcohol-based mouthwash is not good because it kills
That's actually true.
important bacteria.
That's actually true.
So if you are just rinsing in the morning, try to find one that doesn't have alcohol. in
And
it
trust
if
me,
you can.
given my recent experiences, they make it.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course they do. I think like Scope and Listerine, I think those have full on
Because it's the only one you're allowed to have there.
I think it's just vodka with like blue dye in it.
It's not, It's, but you can definitely tell. That one makes your breath, the vodka one makes your breath smell better.
Yeah.
The other one, I'm sure it's cleaning it.
I found one that's really good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really strong, but no alcohol. But you sound like you fared a lot better than I did after a decade away from the dentist. And I mean, I've got a really good friend of mine that is a dentist, and over the years, like, you need to get you in the chair. I'm like, I know, I will. I promise I'll book an appointment. And I finally just said, you know what, I got to do this. And the deep cleaning sucked, but it wasn't. The only thing that was bad is I had a wisdom tooth on the top that was so loose that he just went in with pliers and just pulled it out.
Oh.
I didn't have to get an oral surgeon. So I got my 2 top wisdom teeth taken out, and he just pulled them out right there in his office.
Gee.
And I did have to get a crown
Yeah.
on one tooth, but the deep cleaning, and I was like, I've been completely committed to 2 to 3 times a day, brushing, flossing at least 5 times a week. Sometimes I'll skip a day and kind of forget or whatever, but and then my next 2 checkups after that were spot on. So it feels good to be back in the game, but yeah, I did the same thing, man.
I was telling Danny the TC story last night. He went.
I couldn't believe this.
His was more than a decade, I want to say, and he was brushing like twice a week.
Dang.
And it took him like half a dozen trips to the dentist to get right. And people in the office, other employees were like, they were calling other techs in, like, check this out. Like he was, they discovered a new dinosaur or something.
No, I knew mine would be bad, but I just wanted to be below average. You can't be the worst.
His was, I think they were touting it as the worst.
Okay.
His was like about to end up in a photograph on the wall whenever they show you, like, this is what can happen.
Mm-hmm. Like I think he was like really close to having implants or dentures.
It was really bad,
Yeah.
and really expensive, and it took a lot of time and a lot of pain. And the funny part about it is we had been having arguments about it for the better part of a decade. And to his credit, we started a podcast one morning, and he's like, I got to tell you something. You were right about brushing your teeth.
Who knew?
I was like, I didn't do that research on my own.
Who knew that Jake was the one to present this secret lost information?
So the other part of my morning, wife and I are looking to. So we we have a lake house, but we don't really go that often.
Mm-hmm.
We bought it for extremely cheap. We worked on it a lot for a couple years, fixed it up, put money into it. It's mostly just Airbnb now, and it's about a push. We don't really make money on it, but we get the equity. And given that we have just added on to our house and the kids are about to get into a bunch of weekend stuff, we're going to sell it and pay a bunch of stuff off. So I had to go and get some documents this morning. I had to get them notarized. So in this case, the easiest way to do it was to go to my bank.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when I was a kid, much like a wedding officiant, being really perplexed by the concept of a notary. It's like, oh, this signature, you can't just do it. A notary has to witness it. And the first time I ever did it, I think it was something from my mom's business that I was working at part-time. And I went there, and it was just like this super beaten house where this lady had like 9 kids and like 20 cats.
And a stamp.
Yeah. And I'm like, am I at the right place? Like, I'm thinking
Yeah.
it's going to be like it's going to look like I'm on Wall Street. Like I'm walking into J.P. Morgan, and it was just this shitty house in Haltom City.
You could be a public notary if you want.
So that's the thing is when I was a kid, they're like, oh, you got to get this. This has got to be official by a notary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm imagining someone with like a monocle.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like this lady that looked like Honey Boo Boo's mom.
Who's hot now?
Yeah. Can you believe it? Click
What?
here.
Honey Boo Boo is?
I don't know.
Oh.
She's at the bottom of every web
Yeah.
page.
The little shock ads. You're like, eight bacteria that are killing your gut. Have you seen Honey Boo Boo lately? You're like, I don't know. Click on both. So it's just a weird concept. So I go in there, and the lady has, and I'm sure everybody knows this, but she just has a book that looks old.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why is this not on a computer?
It ain't.
It's just an
It
old
ain't work that way, bro.
It's an old book that looks like an oversized old checkbook.
It's an old ledger.
Yeah, it's a legend. It's
Yeah.
got like the cover on it that's real old looking, and she's just like, oh, I have to watch you do it. I'm like, okay. She gets out her big book and slams it down and has me sign it. She writes the exact time down. I'm like,
You got to show your ID.
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's like, okay, well, what about all the other signatures I do whenever you're not here? How is this one more official?
Because she saw you do it.
Okay.
She can testify. It probably has to do something with court. Yeah. Dude, and I notice it in this business too. Everything is about covering your ass.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Everything. Make sure that you do this way because of blowback. Everybody's worried about blowback, right?
I mean, it's true. It's just that I feel like there are a lot of signatures I give that could cause a problem if they were fake. And I don't have to have Delilah from Wells Fargo. I had to wait 10 minutes on.
Did she charge you?
No,
I
because I have an account.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So a lot of them will.
They do charge.
Yeah, $5-10.
Honey Boo Boo's mom charged. It was $10, something like that. Cigarette burns all over her ledger.
Mm-hmm.
I think I want to get it done because I think it would make me feel powerful. Like I want to be able to tell you guys, does that need to be official? I'll get my stuff.
You'd be a great public notary.
I'm sure it's the same application process as a wedding officiant.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. It's on the screen.
I could even e-sign $100. I like that there's a term limit
Yeah,
though.
4 years.
Like I will reevaluate.
Fast approval.
Okay, yeah.
Historical facts.
Notary of the bedchamber?
Oh, wow. Witness the consummation of marriage.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
that's
Sign me up.
That's like a Game of Thrones thing. I don't know if they ever did it, but it's in some of the books I think where
The king.
they had to watch.
Do you use the stamp in that case? Like,
No, you're not. It's like Bill Clinton.
no.
Like, here, do your Clinton. Don't stamp the pussy.
That's great. Damn it.
I heard you have a great Clinton, and I wanted to
Hey.
get to
It's
hear.
not good.
So, anyways, yeah, that's my morning. I got a lot done this morning, fellas. Notary.
What time did
Dennis?
you wake up? Because I talked to you last night at 8:30, and he's like, I'm about to go to bed. Sounded sleepy.
Yeah, I was sleepy. I had taken my magnesium.
What'd you get up at? 4:30?
Dude, it's a
3:15?
It's a problem right now.
You can't get off of a rehab schedule, can you?
I can't. I woke up today at 3:03.
And you've been up for the day since.
Yeah. There's nothing I can do about it. I don't set an alarm. I set my alarm for 4:30.
You're gonna have to make yourself stay up till 10.
Okay, well, last night I only got 5 hours and 15 minutes of sleep.
So after we got off the phone, you were up for another hour.
I was up, but I was not. And that also is like with Whoop, it takes out the time during the night that you were technically awake that you don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
So I was probably falling asleep at 9, and I got up at 3. And I didn't mean to, but what am I going to do? It's like, if you wake up and it's that close to when you're going to wake up, you just fucking get out of bed.
What are you doing at 3 a.m?
Dude.
Just walking around your house?
Here's one thing. I know you wanted to talk some mental health stuff. I don't know if we're going to go fully into it today, but here's one thing you learn when you're for real crazy. There's like 10 things you have to do every day to not be crazy. So I have to meditate. I have to journal. I have to read. Then I have to work out. And all told, that takes about an hour and 45 minutes. And then it's time to start the day. But I feel fucking fantastic, folks.
I thought there was another J he was going to add in
I
there.
did too. He said there was 10 things. That was like 5.
I just mean throughout the day, I got to stop and do breathing exercises. I have to take, dude, it's to the point, Dan and I talked about this, but I'm on 5 supplements based on my blood work from a couple months ago and a couple medications. And I have I have an old person pill thing.
Are you kidding? You got the little pill organizer?
Yeah, it's 8 pills a day.
Oh.
Now, 5 of them or 6 of them are not prescription. It's just, like I said,
For
it's
fun.
magnesium, vitamin D, a B12.
Right.
Flintstones gummy.
Flintstones. And so, the only way to remember to do it is, I bought the senior citizen pill thing.
But I bet it's kind of fun, though.
It's so much fun. On Sunday, I load them all up. Yeah.
Organize it.
Each day's a different color. They all pop open individually. And I haven't missed one yet.
Yeah. And you feel good?
Yeah.
So you're throwing weights around at 3:45 in the morning?
No, I start that between 4:30 and 5.
And you're doing that at home?
Yeah, I mean, at my home, when I move back in, I have everything you need. I have a rack, I have a bench, I have a boxing bag, a punching bag. I have kettlebells. I have all the dumbbells I need. I have a jump rope. Where I am now, I just have kettlebells, a slam ball, and which I can't use in the morning because it's loud as hell. And a 25-pound, they're called a Viper. It's this huge rubber tube with handles.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just do body weight. I do prison workouts. Push up,
That all tracks.
reverse, front lunges, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I just run when it's cold. I love it.
You haven't gotten to the point where running just destroys your knees and your hips yet?
Yes and no. I don't. When I'm in shape, I run sprints instead of distance.
It's the best.
And right now,
on grass too.
Yeah, for sure.
Preferable.
I will start in October most years, or at least 2 out of the last 3 years. I'll start running long distances to try to run the Dallas half. And then for the rest of the year, I never really run more than 2 miles at a time. Can't do it. It's bad for you.
Recently, I'm sure we want to move on to other things, but on that, Corby is finally
Given up
running, and we've been connecting on the old man walk.
Oh, yeah.
Because I can't run. I've got a torn meniscus in my knee that's been like that forever. So
Your back, too.
Well, the back is perfect now. It's as good as it's ever been
Totally
since I was
new.
17 years old, but I don't want to risk. I don't mind sprints because it's on a soft surface, and I think that's great at the end of a good walk to get 10 of those in. It's one of the best things for you as far as staying fit and cutting fat and all that. But yeah, he's I can't believe, because he's fully embraced it. And when we're talking not just going out for a leisurely walk, I'm talking rocking a 13-minute mile and doing 5 or 6 miles at that pace. And it's good, man.
Yeah, I'm sure it feels great.
You feel it, and we're kind of collaborating on this, going, why did we ever run?
Yeah.
And it was the same attitude. It's when you're running, you look at guys that are walking like weenies. It's I don't want to. What are you doing walking? That's not doing anything.
Where's your fanny pack, pussy?
It does it's so good for you.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just as effective. If you're trying to lose weight, it might it might be a tick slower than running as far as the target rate that you want your heart to get into. But if you're in that full, what's the level below the highest when it's either
like zone 4?
Yeah, zone 4. But if you're in if your heart rate's at 130 and you're able to sustain that for an hour and a half, you're going to burn everything off in a few months.
There's a dude over by my.
Neither one of us are. Why did we ever run?
Yeah, there's a dude over
Stupid.
by my house. He might be retired. I don't know. He looks like he's about 60. I've never seen him run ever. And I swear to God, he was walking for 2 hours every day. And he is not ripped, you know, but he's like
lean as
there's
fuck.
not an ounce of fat on him.
Right.
And I'm like, dude. And he's every day, fast walk around the whole place, multiple times. All right, let's get into some sports for the day, Blake.
From the wonderful world of sports, Radio Sports Scoreboard.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
I like that too, Tim. I also like our friends at Early Bird CBD. Those Early Bird CBD gummies, they are fantastic. I like to say these are not your old man's CBD gummies. That is because, Danny, they have 2.5 milligrams of natural THC. Of course, they have the 12.5 mgs of CBD in each gummy. If you're looking to, change jobs or something, you got a drug test, these are not for you. These are not for you. What they are for is feeling nice, putting a smile on your face, enjoying the outdoors. Hey, perhaps if you are going to go knock out a 5-mile walk and keep your heart rate up, you're going to be walking around in nature. You want to be feeling good.
Sure.
You want to be feeling nice. Open yourself up a little bit. That's what these bad boys are for.
Think about if you wanted to go get up at, 5 in the morning and go for an hour and a half long run or walk. Imagine if you tried to do that after, 6 lagers and a couple of Jaeger bombs the night before. You're not doing it, but you get a good buzz with these guys. Take one, start with one. Maybe if that's not quite enough, you can move up to 2. Guess what you wake up with the next day? Not a hangover.
No.
That's for dang sure.
Clear mind, Blake.
Yeah, or if you just kind of want to forget the day's stresses, like I do. Take an early bird.
Indirect shot at Dan and Jake in the live spot, but that's actually pretty poignant because we put him through a lot, and Early Bird is
there for me.
I'm learning this from Blake, and he is right. There are daily stresses, and they've been that way for about a month.
Have you heard about Early Bird CBD?
I'm learning right now, Blake.
Whoa. I feel like I'm talking to two guys right now who want to pay full price. Let me talk you out of that. Okay. There's no need. At earlybirdcbd.com, you can use the promo code DUMBZONE, which is good for 20% off. So do that today. And it's made right there in Texas. It's in Austin. They'll hook you up with 20% off with promo code DUMBZONE at earlybirdcbd.com.
What?
Well, we were going to have you play something at the end.
Again?
No.
Oh, this thing.
At earlybirdcbd.com.
Hey, you sweet bastard. Take the edge off tonight with some early bird. Early bird, make me feel so good. Early bird, just like I knew you would.
Worth the wait.
Yeah.
All right, so we were not on yesterday. One brief programming note, we did not do a Rehab Tales episode yesterday. We should have made the first one 2 episodes because we intended them to be about 45 minutes to an hour, and the first one was twice that. So next week we'll be back, and we'll have some for you on that. But today we are following up on the Jerry v. the Media story, at least briefly here because we were not here yesterday. Backstory, everyone probably knows it by now. It's national news. Jerry getting into an argument with Sean and RJ on the Fan. You know, you could come down on either side of this. Maybe both can be true. That one, Jerry's actually super frustrated and kind of being a jerk, being a bully because he's a billionaire. He's always had things his way. And the other part would be this is all kind of a calculated move on his part that he knows if he does this, then people are talking Cowboys and they're leading with Cowboys, and he has no intention of actually changing the rights holder. It was interesting to see however many people followed this story on social media. If you follow the right people, Ben Rogers had a great tweet on this, illuminating, like, the audience legit thinks that the fan or the ticket when they had the Cowboys, that we're all like going out to steak dinners every month together because of the Cowboys check.
Mm-hmm.
The station pays the team.
Yeah, it's a wash.
The station pays the team so that they can sell their own inventory in addition to the team's inventory on a broadcast. Like, the ticket is paying the stars to broadcast their games.
We had when we were at the ticket, we had the Cowboys.
Right.
But, a couple of years?
At least two.
At least two, maybe three, and then they moved on to, I guess, the Fan was next for them.
It might have been Live
ESPN
105 at the time.
Yeah.
But it was that signal, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but we had them, and I remember talking about the economics of that with some operatives.
Mm-hmm.
And they said it's basically a wash.
Yeah,
you know, that they have a little bit of spike in ad rev because of
the mystique of it. You're the Cowboy station,
but what it essentially is the perception.
Mm-hmm.
We are the official station of the Dallas Cowboys. We carry the games, and it can also maybe bring more ears to your day part shows. Because of that reason.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
One, the interviews, but two, I mean, they would do a 3
Access,
hour,
of course, because Jerry's on twice a week over there.
And Steven's on, and they would do a 3 hour post game show when we did a 2 hour show on the ticket. So when I would drive home from work after doing the post game show, I would listen to the Fan's post game show.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went and got in my car in the morning, it was on the Fan. Now I knew what it was already. I was familiar with their product and the alternative, so I didn't listen to it.
It's worth it for the access because I don't think they're having to fork out any money on top of what they're It's a package deal. They're getting Jerry. It's included in the deal. Whereas when the Musers are interviewing Troy,
that's paid.
I would shudder to think at what that paycheck is that they pay him every year.
Well, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this. I'm not going to give a number, but I'll just tell you in my. Based on what I have heard, I don't know a number actually.
Does he give him a good guy deal?
Yes, because he loves the ticket. And he loves the Musers, and he knows it's awesome. So, but most people are making for them quite a bit. But in any case, the idea that these guys are taking money from Jerry, and now they're going to ask these tough questions. Like, he has every right to tell them to F off. It doesn't work that way.
No.
And if you've ever listened to their show, It Ain't My Cup of Tea, the entire station, Not Really My Cup of Tea, they in no way tiptoe around criticizing Jerry or the Cowboys. It has nothing to do with that. Now, you may think that because other stations, obviously the ticket, leans heavily on the promo of the thing that we've made fun of, like we make fun of every promo forever, of like, we're in no one's back pocket. The Fan is paying the Cowboys.
Right.
And they don't even hesitate to be critical of him. And what happened on Tuesday, they did their part, he did his, and they'll do it again. And Jerry will be on their show again. And you know what's going to happen next week? Way more people will listen to that Tuesday interview for at least a week to see how it's all going to go.
I mean,
Jerry will make a joke.
Yeah.
And it'll all be fine.
The national attention that's gotten, the guys on that morning show, Sean and RJ, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing,
and Bobby.
Nothing better could have happened to them than what happened with Jerry because of the sizzle that they've gotten from all of the national media. I remember on the Freak when we had on Mikey and Kevin and I had Jason Kidd on, and he came out and said, yes, Luka's better than Dirk. And I even gave him an opportunity to qualify. I go, do you mean like at this stage in his career compared to where Dirk was in his career? He's like, no, he's better than Dirk right now, period. He's better than Dirk. And we sent that to, I don't know, Morning News or Fox or whatever. And the next thing you know, it blew up. And the people that worked at the station, way to go, guys.
Yeah.
You really did it. Now, when's the next one? What are you doing tomorrow?
They get rocked up over that stuff.
They do. So, the Fan is flying high today.
Yeah, and those guys came out looking good, too. It's not like they, cowered away from him. So, all that.
It's all in the game, man. All of this shit's in the game.
It's all in the game, and part of the game is just everybody feeding off the same corpse. So
100%.
us included, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to just laugh at it, but I'm also a Cowboy fan, and I write about the Cowboys. We talk about the Cowboys. But I knew what was going to happen later on Tuesday was going to happen, because in that interview, Jerry's, when he's taunting them, is like, oh, if you think you're so smart, why don't you be where I am at an owners meeting with one of these other 31 people here? You're so smart. So I knew when it was happening, I was like, damn, he's about to be in front of the media. Because there's always people scurrying about whatever convention center or hotel those meetings are at. And so I'm like, somebody's going to catch up with him, because this is everywhere by noon. And The Athletic did, Diana Rossini.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, her, and I think with the contribution of Machota and Saad, had an article about it later that day. And we have the audio of his comments to her.
Yeah, I don't know that I would go as far as the volume connotation as yelling. Okay? But the facts are that if I'm going to be grilled by the tribunal, I don't need it to be by the guys I'm paying. The wrong ones were doing the questioning. Now, if those had been real fans sitting there, okay, or if there'd been people that knew what they were talking about, football people, might have had a different answer.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of error.
Yeah, unless I'm mistaken about this, and they have an extremely unique situation, they're not paying the fan.
And here's the thing: it's not he may have the power or influence to get them fired, but to say that he's writing their checks, that's not the case. They don't work for DallasCowboys.com.
I doubt he has anything to do with that.
Right.
So he just doesn't know how it works.
Well,
that's a good point.
I bet he has something to do with, I don't know, because he is so involved in it, from socks to jocks or whatever the Dale phrase was. I don't know. But I also don't think he would just say that if he knew. I don't think he would intentionally lie about that, like a illegitimate child or something.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's probably just ignorance. He probably just doesn't know. He assumes that he's paying them because they're the flagship.
Yeah, and of course, it's not like when he sits down and talks to Kyle Yeomans or something that they ask those sort of questions. So he does know the people he actually pays. Like, those guys' check says Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
The fans one says Odyssey.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But then also the idea that he's like, well, I would have taken it if it were some real fans there. Okay, so does he just mean in public? Like, what if, I'm a Cowboy fan. So if we were to have him on and I'm like, it seems like you really screwed up pretty mightily in the offseason by the fact that you sequenced these contracts the way that you did. You signed Dak to the exact same deal you could have signed in March.
Yeah, does the defensiveness just not exist at that point?
Well, according to him, if you're a fan, no.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is true at all. I think he's just squirming and trying to keep it going. And, the wrong ones were doing the question.
I don't
doing
know.
the questioning.
I don't know how calculated and in touch he is with that type of a strategy, but it sure does. All of this talk definitely takes a lot of the discussion away from firing your head coach in the middle of the season.
Exactly.
But is he that good?
I don't know.
To be able just to start up garbage with those guys? And knowing that this is going to go viral, is he that good of a strategist to be able to do that?
It might just come naturally to him. I don't know. Because while I've definitely still heard, on the sports radio, the Cowboys podcasts I listen to, and again, it's only Thursday. The game was 5 days ago. But I've still heard people talking about, like, man, they're just not very good, and they're bad without their defensive stars. And, the schedule looks like a beast. I've still heard that.
Troy called him out on the Musers.
But what I haven't heard over the last 3 days is, should they fire Mike McCarthy?
That's true. Yeah.
Or should they, fire a position coach or something?
It's been this stuff that blew up with Jerry, and practice has been a big point of discussion.
Yeah.
And you can kind of directly connect those dots between what Troy said with Dunham and Miller when he said he sees receivers that are running lazy routes and they're tipping off the other team because the only time they look like they give a damn is when they know the ball's coming to them. Those are things that have to be, if what he's saying is true, those are things that you would address where? In practice, in the
Yeah.
repetition of those things and having that drilled into your head, and there being a consequence if you are lollygagging on routes or not blocking downfield or whatever. But if Troy is noticing that, and he brought up, hey, man, I just did my research because I got Baltimore coming up, and I watched the whole damn game, and that I saw it to a point where if those were my guys, there would be major problems.
Yeah, it's weird because you do have to practice it. You do have to coach it in practice, but at some point, like, you're either a dog or you're not. And again, we reference this a lot. I'm not saying that Dez was always in the game locked in, but in practice, Dez was a maniac. And I've always thought CD must kind of be like that in his own way because he runs really, really hard with the ball in his hands, like a man possessed, especially for his size. But, yeah, I mean, in general, yeah, there's a lot of effort in their entire offense from the design to the execution.
Well, we talked
Zeke,
about
like we said the other day, when Zeke gets a carry, everyone knows that the play is over. So you're already, you know what I mean? Like, you're already, I mean, they're somewhat aggressive on fourth down, but your quarterback doesn't run for the most part. So fourth down, I would guess, but even without Jalen Hurts, teams that are the best on fourth down are the teams with the best running quarterbacks for the most part.
Yeah.
So that down is not great for you. Let's just piss one of them away 8 times a game like they did the other day by handing the ball to Zeke, and that's got to be deflating to people.
Well, you talk about the fiery catalyst types on a team, and you reference Dez. Michael Irvin was that way in the 80s and 90s for sure. And you talk about
Witten was that way.
Witten was
in
that
his
way
era.
for sure. Now, the thing is, either you're a dog or you're not. Well, I think you can kind of draw a line down the middle, and there are some people that are – I think most of the team is probably more in the central of that line, dog, not a dog. Well, sometimes I can be a dog. Sometimes I'm lazy. You only hear about those guys when they exist. There wasn't 53 Michael Irvins. There weren't 53 Des Bryants. Who's the guy now? We haven't heard anything about the main dog.
It's really weird.
And there's people that you would expect it to be. Maybe your quarterback for one. Maybe Micah Parsons to be one. D-Law's been there forever. You think that he would be a vocal, and obviously we don't know what's going on. But dude, if that person exists, eventually it's going to filter to us, and there will be talk of it, and it will be common knowledge that there is that guy that's holding people accountable. That has nothing to do with the coaching staff.
No, that's definitely true. They've over the years. I mean, Romo was not really that guy.
No, he wasn't.
And it's sometimes it's your quarterback, sometimes it's not. People can lead in different ways. I do think Dak is a great leader, but I think it helps also. Like Zeke, when Zeke is the face of your offense, no. I don't know if CD's that guy or not. Micah, early returns is not.
Yeah.
Lawrence was at times. Sean Lee definitely was. Witten definitely was. I think Tyron Smith definitely was, and maybe Tyler Smith can turn into that. But they don't have a real in-your-face guy, it doesn't seem like. And then again, their offensive play calling is just boring as hell. There are a couple – so I'm almost bummed the Cowboys don't play this weekend because I really do want to see how the Zeke carries play out going forward. Because we talked about this the other day during the game. There was a tweet where, let me see if I can find the Clarence Hill tweet, where Clarence Hill had a tweet basically saying, here, I'll just pull it up so I can read it word for word, regarding Zeke's carries. And he wrote an article on his website, not his website, but
All City.
All City Dallas, but I don't recall the exact URL. I have it bookmarked. I know there's no vowels other than the first day. This is from last week. Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott confirmed he has talked to the coaches about his role and remains dumbfounded by his lack of opportunities, at least as red zone back. I don't think Zeke said dumbfounded, just like I don't think that CD Lamb said subpar throw for. So I thought that was weird when it came out. And then later that day, Clarence had a really long article about it, which seemed like it was an odd time to write it because it was after the Pittsburgh game where Dowdle was great other than the goal line fumble. And he used that to be like, see, that should have been Zeke's carry. Like, fumbles just happen sometimes. So then I went and found Zeke being asked about it. And you tell me if he confirmed and remains dumbfounded by his role. Oh, am I up?
Mm-hmm.
All right, sorry. Let me see if I can switch this. Computer problems.
Dak talked about how hard it must be for you to adjust to this role, given your role the first time you were here, almost never coming off the field. What has it been like for you emotionally and mentally to not be nearly as involved?
I mean, it's definitely a little different, but I mean, just keep my head down, continue to work, and hopefully my opportunity comes.
All right, so that's the first answer. Yeah, I'm just going to keep working. No real frustration, not really sending a message. Let's skip ahead and see if he...
One of the things you've always been exceptional at in your career is scoring in short yardage situations. How surprised were you weren't in there in those situations the last few weeks?
No, I want to be in there. I don't know.
Have you asked for a more defined role?
I mean, I've talked a little bit, but just kind of, letting it play itself out.
This is something, obviously, something you haven't been used to for a long, long time. And you talk to other veterans and say, how do I handle this?
Honestly, I've just been focused on, being a good teammate. I've been focusing on, continue to help lead this team.
Okay, so does that sound like a guy that's like, yeah, I'm storming in there and telling him, give me the ball in red zone of the goal line or else. And I'm dumbfounded why.
Dumbfounded.
No, he's just like, yeah, if I've talked to them a little bit and we'll see how it plays out and I'm trying to be a good teammate. And then that article gets written and it's like, what?
Did he quote him as saying dumbfounded?
It just says,
no. Okay.
It does not quote it, but it says whatever the exact
He was
tweet
describing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so the other thing too is he's definitely a big guy.
Every single time.
But he's also
it's like he's surprised they're asking him questions.
He's also a huge nose breathe while answering guy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And he's still got that goofy Zeke giggle.
One of the things you've always been exceptional at in your career is scoring in short yardage situations. How surprised were you weren't in there in those
already breathing heavy right there.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear it.
In short yardage situations, how surprised were you weren't in there in those situations the last few weeks?
No, I want to be in there. I don't know.
Yeah, I want to be in there, but I don't know.
No, anyways, yeah. And so to reference something else that happened on the Fan briefly, this is the week before. I was going to play this before Jerry got all pissy and changed the narrative.
On the football front, it did seem interesting that Ezekiel Elliott said he talked to the coaches about his role and he remains, quote, dumbfounded by his lack of...
You see how this whole game works?
Yeah.
He said he talked to the coaches. And, they asked him, have you talked to the coaches about your role? Yeah, we talked about it a little bit. And he, quote, remains dumbfounded. Now, the tweet that the host there, or the quote that is being used as a quote there, is a quote of a tweet of what Clarence said.
Right.
But if you say it like that, it makes it sound like it is a quote from Zeke. He said, quote, that he's, quote, dumbfounded.
Coaches about his role, and he remains, quote, dumbfounded
That's
by
not
his
what
lack
happened.
of opportunities, at least as a red zone back. I was curious what your thoughts were about that, and have you spoken to Zeke at all about this?
That's an exaggeration.
Thank you.
Dumbfounded is an exaggeration.
Because it wasn't said.
It's a bad description of how he feels about things. He's very much aware of the part of the running game that he's involved with.
Okay, so I want you guys to stay with me here because Jerry's got a banger coming
He was
up.
driving towards mischaracterization and then decided no.
No, that looks a little rocky over there.
But more importantly is, and I can't emphasize this enough, we're saving him.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God, are you serious?
That's what it is.
We're saving.
Yeah, so we don't really want to dust off too many of those 2 and 3 and 1 yard carries right now because we're gonna need those bad boys.
When?
Later.
Well,
that remains to be determined. The funniest thing about it is if you were saving him, you would still be giving him a light amount of carries like they are now. Except that those light amount of carries would be turning into more because he would be fresh. How is he supposed to get better later in the year. Like if you want to keep him fresh, maybe you would keep it the same as he's doing now, which is not much.
If you put together a Zeke highlight reel of 2024,
I should do
you would need a really long like theme song for it and a bunch of credits at the end of it for it to even make 60 seconds.
Yeah. You would. Yeah, we're saving him. Look, bottom line, man. You know, you're saving him. You know, you just played like two of the best teams in the NFL. And it turns out there's an upstart out east that is about to run away with your division if you don't do something about it. And apparently you're not going to do something about it. So I don't know. I just thought that was a brilliant Jerry answer. Like, you guys just don't know. Listen, when he breaks off a 19-carry $125 on Thanksgiving,
yeah,
you'll remember the day.
Because of these.
That I
saving him.
You're saving Zeke.
That is awesome.
So we didn't really do much around the NFL coming out of last week, week 6, but there were a couple funny things. One of which was after the Eagles narrowly beat the Browns 20-16, a game that they easily could have lost. They were back healthy. It was AJ and Devontae played, right? They're back pretty healthy, and they were able to, eke out with a win. The Browns, one of the worst teams in the NFL and currently one of the worst quarterback play situations in the history of the league. They win 20-16. Was it at home? I know he was yelling at Eagles fans. Yeah, so they're at home. And as the final seconds are ticking down and it's clear the game's over, Nick Sirianni, who is just the biggest douchebag in the game, he turns around to the fans in Philadelphia and starts giving them a "What's up now? Huh? I'm talking shit? What's up now? Huh?" And he's kind of doing the Hulk. I can't hear you.
Oh, my God.
Can't hear you a little bit over there. What's up?
He's horrible.
And it's like, dude, you just beat the Browns by 4 points. You're supposed to be in the Super Bowl. Your team, what did they finish last year? 1-7, 1-6 or something,
After
including the
starting
playoffs.
7 or 8-1.
Yeah.
Like that.
You're on the hot seat because everybody in Philadelphia is like, hey, it might have been the 2 coordinators we lost that knew what they were doing.
Well, the public opinion on that guy has done such a flip.
Real fast.
Yeah.
And
it happened quick. You're right.
Nothing could be quicker on public opinion than Philly.
True.
So he's over there doing the what's up, bitch? And it looked terrible. So, of course, it was the first question in his Monday press conference after the game.
Yes, please.
Hey, Nick, I was curious. In the offseason, Jeffrey Lurie said he liked that you showed passion as a head coach. He didn't want you to lose that. But considering the kind of extreme negative reaction to yesterday, have you heard from Jeffrey Lurie at all about what happened yesterday and what was his feedback?
No, Mr. Lurie and I talk every time after the game, every time. I haven't talked to him yet today. I know how supportive Mr. Lurie has been through everything. I would say this about that. What I was really doing, I was trying to bring energy yesterday, enthusiasm yesterday. And I'm sorry.
I'm going to start saying that anytime I mess up real bad.
I'm just trying to bring energy.
I get it. What I did, add a line, but I was just trying to bring energy.
See, the thing, I would like to be able to do that, but nobody would ever believe that I was ever trying to bring
That's true.
energy.
That's true. Same for Blake, probably same for me. Yeah, I want Blake to try that. I was just trying to bring energy.
How's your energy, Rob? Good?
Oh, great.
Okay.
And I'm sorry and disappointed on how my energy was directed at the end of the game. And, my energy should be all in on coaching, motivating,
choose energy spot,
right, and celebrating with our guys. And so, that's and I got to have better wisdom and discernment of when to use that energy, and that wasn't the time. And so, we have the best fans.
Blah 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 blah. So now he's going to do that.
Well, we need discernment, wisdom, and energy. Just got to figure out, when to do them.
He's probably getting fired. He's probably getting fired.
Oh, he sounds like a kid apologizing.
Oh, I know, right? And the other thing too, the reason that he sounded like a kid even more is it wasn't right away. It was the next day. Like when you used to screw up real bad, and you knew there was going to be a situation with your parents, you'd be like, all right, I got to nail this.
Kind of sounds like you went to the Jason Garrett School of Communication a little bit there. Wait, energy, and I need some wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
That's good.
So we'll have picks tomorrow. We'll get into some NFL stuff. I got to tell you, this is a juicy Cowboy bye week. We got some heat. Texans, Packers, Lions, Vikings, Chiefs, Niners, Monday night game, Ravens, Bucks, the real NFL teams.
Yeah.
Right.
The actual teams that look like they're playing NFL football. Got several good ones this weekend, so that should be fun. And then another piece of NFL news that I still don't really understand is that Tom Brady now owns part of the Raiders.
Yeah.
I think you're about to show this, but yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't seen it. Blake found this. I just saw the news, and it was confusing to me because obviously the first thing you think is like, how's he going to call games anymore?
Right.
Like, okay, people are like, oh, he can't call Raiders games. Well, how can he call any game? How many teams do you see in a given year? If you're the A team, it's not as many, but it's still probably 30, right?
Yeah, and
not 30. Excuse me. There's 30. It's probably like 15 or 16.
Fox is predominantly NFC, so I don't think he'd get in trouble there.
Man, that's not near as much as it used to be, though.
No, because there's a lot of
since the rights changed. But yeah, I mean, they're definitely the Cowboys national.
Yeah, well, I guess then they feel more NFC. Yeah, I feel like if I'm going to watch a Raiders game, it's on CBS.
Primarily, that's true.
But
most people aren't going to see any Raiders games this year.
Yeah, not anytime soon. But yeah, his restrictions came out recently.
Like he's got Kansas City, San Francisco this week.
Okay.
So it does happen, but yeah, so his restrictions.
Mm-hmm. So, this is for our audio-only people. Brady is not permitted to be in another team's facility, which I feel like that's not a huge deal.
It might not be, but I mean, that is where those production meetings, I think, usually take place.
Some. the ones with like EA and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. This is kind of a big one. Not permitted to witness practice. We hear a lot about the broadcasters going to practice. I mean, that's where you pick up a lot of your stuff. Not permitted to attend broadcast production meetings either in person or virtually. Prohibited from publicly criticizing game officials and other clubs. Subject to the NFL's gambling policy. And subject to the NFL's anti-tampering policy. So he's basically just not allowed around the teams.
Dude, that's a slight neutering for the position that he holds right now at Fox.
He can basically show up, do the game, and watch film.
Well, he can't say anything. Like if there's an egregious call on the field by an official, he can't comment on that. Or he can't comment on it in with any opinion.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's just the stuff that Blake just read, that's a really weird way to have to do that job. And probably what's going to happen is they just won't enforce it.
My guess is practice is
going to practice
a big
is one
deal,
thing.
man.
They probably won't be able to do that because you're in person. But
he's it's not like he's play-by-play man. He's he's an analyst.
Right.
That's his job.
Storytelling.
I saw this in practice the other day, and they ran that play that. He doesn't have access to that anymore. That's weird, man.
You know what it is more than anything is that people just can't get off of Tom Brady's dick. That's what it is. And it turns out week by week he's getting better in the broadcast booth to a point where now, begrudgingly, I have to say he's actually pretty good already.
He's very good.
The NFL.
He's very clean, too.
Yeah.
No mistakes.
The NFL and the owner's old boys club, he's the golden boy. They're not going to keep him out. If he wants in, he's in. If he wants to buy a piece, he's going to get a piece. It's good for the league to have him on TV. So he can basically just do whatever he wants.
Why?
Because he's Tom Brady. And
why buy it? Why? Why does he need this?
What's his percentage of ownership?
It's got to be pretty small.
Is it basically like this is just an investment deal for him, or is he involved in any type of decision making outside of what a shareholder would make?
Well, I know. Okay, I'll give you the Mark Davis quote. Although Tom can't play, he can help us select a quarterback in the future and potentially train him as well.
Good grief.
So it's a huge benefit for the organization.
How does Fox let him keep his job?
I don't know, because he's Tom Brady. This would not fly in almost any other circumstance.
Right.
And what's ironic about it is that while Tom Brady is super famous, he's super marketable, he's good at almost everything he does, and he's part of the reason the league is as popular as it is, he could be pulled away in a leftover style vanishing tomorrow, and the league would be just as popular. It's like they need Tom Brady. Like, for example, we've talked about this before, but the NBA might have a problem on their hands when Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and LeBron James are gone. The NFL doesn't need Tom Brady to be involved in the league.
They don't need him as far as like a current savior of the league. Like you said, if he goes away and evaporates during the rapture,
the
NFL is not going to drop any revenue or ratings. What Tom has is the squeaky clean persona. So when you have the acres of bad crap that's going on in the NFL, you can but with Tom Brady.
Yeah, a couple footballs with low PSI.
But look at Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Look at what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's a part owner in the league. He's in the Fox booth. That's what – look, these guys are outliers. What our league is really about is Tom Brady. That's why he's essential or beneficial to them.
Yeah.
It's not really for the day-to-day. It's for the image.
But if the NBA or ESPN wanted Michael Jordan to call games, they would let him call games, even though he's a owner of Charlotte.
I don't think he is anymore. But to your point, this is almost like
Michael Jordan does nothing.
Oh, I know.
So
but
they would jump at that chance.
Yeah, but a huge star wanted to call games, you're going to let him.
100%.
You're right, but the point would be that's almost like the internet rule of bringing up Hitler in an argument. If the only outlier we could find is Michael Jordan,
well,
there's not many. You're not going to find many others.
Yeah.
You know. So,
but if Brady is saving us from Mark Sanchez, then they'll probably let him tiptoe through these restrictions and call games.
I mean, the other thing too that's in this opinion piece about it is that because they even asked Jerry about it, he can't go to production meetings or practices. Like Danny said, is prohibited from publicly criticizing officials or other teams. He could still call any coach or executive or player that he knows, and he knows all of them.
Yeah.
So Jerry, they asked him about it, and he's like, he hadn't called, but I've seen him, and I'll see him in pregame. So he, as owner of the Raiders, could just call Andy Reid and say, hey, I got a Chiefs game this weekend. I can't come to the meeting, but what do you got for me? Now, the inverse of that is Andy Reid might be like, no thanks, pal.
You own our division rival.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it won't affect the broadcast that much, but it is interesting to see just how, like anything in life, preferential treatment works. You could just kind of, hey, it's Tom Brady. You can get away with whatever. I think it also puts, not that I'm going to play a tiny violin for KB, but I think it puts his partner in a weird spot.
I think it does too, because it definitely, KB's going to have to pause before setting him up with something that could violate a sanction. It seems like the sanctions would come from somewhere else and limit his abilities as an owner. Like, dude, this is a financial thing for you.
Yeah, it's basically just a fund.
It's a fund.
You put the money in,
you
get
put the money
out.
in. Yeah, you can say that you have you're a stockholder, a shareholder in the Raiders, but you don't get to have anything to do with their operations, with their coaching, with their training, with personnel, planning, coach, game planning, anything like that. That's where the limit should happen and let him do his job. I mean, Fox is kind of getting screwed on this in a way. And if I'm them,
for $25 million,
I'm a little pissed at Tom Brady.
Yeah, but they probably went in eyes open and just said, doesn't matter. It's Tom Brady. We got to do it. It will be funny though if they, if they get good again, because that's like a 10-year deal he signed with Fox. And it's cyclical. They'll probably figure out a way to get a quarterback in the next couple years, and he'll have to call their games. It's really, really weird. Really weird. That is all I have for sports and NFL today, boys. So, Blake?
Hey, everybody. It's time to answer some of today's viewer mail.
What's up?
Do you want to hit
There you go.
I didn't know if you wanted to do the Own well or not?
Yeah, let's do some own well, shall we?
Let us indeed. Thank you, Blake.
Property taxes, Jake. It's something that I had to deal with this year, and I decided this year, you know what? I'm gonna contest these, and I did it basically all on my own.
Ugh.
Set up the hearing, got on the phone with the folks, and called me on time. I'm talking to these 3 people that I don't have any connection to, and I plead my case. I've got the listings for other homes in my area that are similar in value, thinking, I got it, man. I'm going to save like $1,000. I saved $10, and the only reason I saved $10 is because they wanted to round it down to the largest number to make their bookkeeping easier.
Yeah.
And I hung up the phone, and guess what? Nothing I could do.
I did
nothing I could do.
Similar, where I wrote a handwritten letter.
Yep.
And I had here's what I had to pay for the house. Here's what it was valued at. Here's how much it's gone up in a year. I had the case.
Did you have to go to a notary?
No, didn't have to do
Okay.
that. But I did feel like Tom Cruise and like A Few Good Men, where I'm carrying on a baseball bat. Like I got my case down. I'm going to save a bunch of money. I didn't save anything.
That's
until I went with Ownwell. Sign up in under 5 minutes, and they saved me a bunch of money on my property taxes.
Blake is a customer, and right now at ownwell.com/partner/thedumbzone. Go check it out. Like Blake said, that way they know that we sent you. You can sign up in less than 5 minutes. They got an 86% hit rate on getting money back. The average is around town between $500 to $1,000 in that range. You're going to likely get money back with that 86% hit rate. And if you happen to fall into that 14%, you won't pay Ownwell anything. You literally have nothing to lose. So go check them out. Use that particular landing page. It'll be in the show notes. Ownwell.com/partner/thedumbzone. Get what is yours. Ownwell will help you fight the man. All right, viewer mail. Excuse me.
Incredible. All right, birthdays today. Birthday that Dan missed, dear Uncle Hotmail, Monday, September 30th. That's a long time ago.
We get Blake reading the names today. Hell yes.
September 30th is the Cletus minus Jaden Daniels birthday of my fiance Preston. You may remember him as the former analytics guy for the Coach Who Never Punts, Kevin Kelly.
Good dude.
Yeah, he sent us a bunch of stuff.
He did.
He has since moved on to a place to see and be seen, working as the analytics guy for DQ.
I'm not surprised by that.
Wow.
That's probably why he stopped emailing us.
He still listens to y'all every day and would love a shout out. His leader is the single slat in the blinds Mike Soroy looks through during Amber Alerts. Given y'all's new relationship
Best
with Fox,
bits ever.
we are
What do you want me to do?
What do you want me to do?
We are excited to watch Jake's debut on The Masked Singer. We just hope he doesn't cause any more absences on the podcast. This is from Hannah.
That's where I was, yeah. Remember that? Remember when people thought Tom Brady was on The Masked Singer?
Yeah, as the banana
Yeah.
or something.
I read about a 40-tweet thread on that. I'm not too proud to admit it.
About what?
The evidence that that's where he was. They're like, look, he just signed a
okay.
contract with Fox. Follow me.
Okay.
Thread below.
Yeah, no, it made sense. Hey, Uncle Slit Lightning. It was Anna Kay's birthday yesterday.
Whoa.
This was October 15th. I forgot to send you all the email. I may have forgotten to send this email, but not to put her to sleep in her favorite way. Burger massage gun pile drived into the couch, then wrapped up like a burrito covered in cats.
What?
She's definitely not proud of Jake at all, and she wants more of Southern Belle Blake. She's always into any classic Dan tapes from the Dayton years. As always,
you,
Uncle
Pedro.
Hottie, you remain her leader. Cheers, Pedro.
Anna Kay, star of the Open for Business video.
Yes.
Her and you.
Mainly her. Dearest Uncle Hyman Hammer.
Okay. That's pretty good.
I'd like to wish a happy 45th birthday to fellow DF Sean Henry.
He's Henry, Sean Henry.
His leaders are the Little Bit of Juice for You Honey Girl, Dingu, and his Blake Jones Waifu Pillow. WAIFU Pillow.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
He says, don't put a black light up.
I've heard of the word. I think it's like a... Let's see here.
Anyway, that's from Barrett.
What's a waifu pillow?
Waifu, I think, is like... It's like hentai porn, maybe? Is it related?
Why didn't they just say that?
I have a hentai porn pillow.
I mean, you're a gamer, right? I thought that's what all y'all
All
were
gamers
into.
are into hentai?
All gamers are definitely into anime.
That's not true.
You know, I don't know that I've ever known someone in real life who is stoked on anime.
That's a grown human or a kid?
Either way, like, I mean, it's very popular in the black community.
I have a buddy whose 10-year-old son is obsessed.
But I don't know that any of my friends are into anime. Blake, that kind of tracks as like a Pokemon guy.
I was not the only person in the 90s
You were into
Pokemon.
that niche hobby?
Yeah. Okay, this birthday request, it says, Dear Pussy Man.
Just cut out the middleman there. Just, are you all right? Did you just throw up?
Yeah, he spit on the floor.
I like it when they just get to the point. There's no creativity there at all.
Nothing got on the mic, but it is all over me.
Nothing.
Hey, the second that I drank that, pussy man.
I mean, Slid, Slayer, Hyman, Hero, Pussy Man. Perfect.
Sorry, guys.
The next character introduced on The Boys, Pussy Man. Today is the birthday of non-subscriber and overall piece of shit Ben Tebstock. His club is trash, his dingus is small, and his theory on Jake's absence was... Not going to read that. If you guys ever need an expert on fingering, Fort Worth hip-hop, or Manchester City, give me a shout. This is from subscriber B.
Just B?
On fingering.
All right, here's what you got to do.
Hang on. Give me his number. I'm going to call B the next time I have some confusion about that part of sex.
That's something you go to a lot still?
Oh, man. Well, I mean, apparently B knows more than I do. I'm going to get some tips.
I think once you kind of discover what we have talked about before, when you're whatever age you first engage in that, you've got it down. And of course, that is that your first time, you're like, oh, it's way down there. Way down there. I kind of thought this was like a front-loading slot machine.
Nope.
And it's just where my stuff is.
Uh-huh.
Like, what am I? I'm having to do like a...
Yep.
Yeah.
You need a hook-shaped arm to do it effectively. And all the guys out there that think they know what they're doing, you don't. They hate it.
Yeah.
They don't want you doing that.
They want to do it
them.
themselves.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know what you're doing.
Dear Uncle
Think of it this way. When's the last time you really enjoyed a hand job? Flip the script on it, you know? Think about it that way.
Dear Uncle Axe Wound Inspector, tomorrow, October 17th, as today, is my day 2 husband Cole's Max Verstappen pre-championship plus Max Verstappen post-championship birthday.
You know, I just don't have the energy.
Okay.
But happy birthday, though.
I did not wake him up in that special way because he has to work on his birthday. His leaders are Drop Beth getting high for the first time and oversharing on the DZ Discord.
Oh, shoot. Did that happen?
Apparently.
I like it. She has a free pass because of cancer.
The best show
Cancer seems awesome. She got new titties and she gets to smoke weed now. She had breast cancer. I don't think she's had them installed yet, but yeah.
The best show to ever grace streaming services, The Boys and Pierogi Squirts. More Rob, more TC, more HCS coverage. Hell yeah.
What is that?
This is from Hunter. Halo Championship Series. Where we're undergoing roster mania right now, and it's getting wild.
I bet it is, man.
Lucid may leave Optic, and I seriously might take a day off.
What?
Yeah. I'll take my mental health day.
I'm going to burn his jersey.
I might, man. Especially if he goes to Shopify. Are you kidding? All right, last one. What's up, Dan and Dumb Zone fam? I know I'm sending this on Business Wednesday, but hopefully this gets read on the Thursday episode. It's my fiance's and his twins' Eric Dickerson birthday. Chris and Kyle are Aggies, for sure, right?
Chris and Kyle? Yeah.
Are day 2s and religious listeners to the Dumb Zone. Chris and I are so happy Jake is back. Leaders are Heart Attack Man, and I'm sure there are more. Say hi to the Roast Twins for me. Big fan, Avery.
Okay, a couple here. Do you have Marv's tweet in front of you?
No, I do not.
Our good friend, we'll just call him Marv, the Cosmic Cowboy. He had a reply to something that we posted the other day. Danny posted just on our show account. Funny clips there.
I do have his tweet.
Funny clips. We will first play that. It's just, we were talking about the story the other day of a trailer park. A lady set it on fire. one of the units, and it killed a man and 3 dogs. And I, as I believe you'll hear in the audio, was thinking about the difference, pros and cons of being trailer park dog or homeless person dog. A woman in Fort Worth, this one in Northwest Dallas, has admitted to setting a fire at a trailer park. That fire killed a man, but more importantly, 3 dogs.
Oh, no.
I think I'd rather be homeless person dog than trailer park dog.
Deep
Feels
contemplation.
Like there's more adventure with all the same bad stuff.
I don't think
Okay, so they're both bad.
I'm not saying all trailer parks are bad, but I'm just saying based on my cops experience. I mean, I've had friends that lived in, a park, but this is the type where somebody sets it on fire. It's like meth people live there sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. I don't imagine being
dog seems really embarrassing.
A homeless person is largely a nomadic experience where you're seeing the sights of America.
Yeah, I might have oversold that a little bit.
What an adventure.
I don't know.
Excitement. You're solving crimes.
Eating somewhere different every day. Meeting new people.
Get to know the locals. That's probably true.
Yeah, I pulled that and posted it on our Twitter account just because it's the unicorn of Dan laughing out loud that much, because I find it very difficult to get Dan to break.
You got to work for it. You got to get lucky.
Yeah, it's a lot of luck, and I'm most often surprised at what he finds hilarious. In this case, homelessness.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Marv the Cosmic Cowboy tweeted to the Dumb Zone, and it's a picture of, I don't know, like.
It's Raphael.
Okay, yeah, Raphael
sure.
in a Heisenberg hat and a red mask, and it says, "Ad for homelessness I made to spread awareness." A tribute, and I believe, Rob, you have that audio.
Sick and tired of the cubicle and the boss man trying to fuck your wife at the Christmas party? Ever thought of life on the road? Well, homelessness might be for you. Travel the world. Get exercise. Try new foods. Meet new people. Get some addiction. Fucking crush. That's right. For the low cost of free, homelessness could be yours. All you gotta do is stop talking to the people you love and leave. That's right. Fucking leave. Homelessness. Are you ready?
Damn, that's awesome.
That made me LOL last night.
For the low price of free. You can leave.
Stop talking to the people you love. I'm going to do that. I'm going to start doing that right now.
That's awesome.
I did. It really is funny, though, because at the genesis of it was me kind of describing it like it was being Carmen Sandiego or something. You're just like, ooh, where can I go next? Yeah, probably just the other part of town and back.
Right.
Okay, so our last one here, Blake, and then we'll take a brief break. This comes to us from our dear friend Brandon, who signs off this email with your orchestral DF. I believe Brandon plays in the Detroit Orchestra.
No way.
He does.
The Detroit Symphony Orchestra. So he says, are you familiar with we don't have the Mr. Belvedere thing available, do we?
The theme song?
No. Because if we do, I should have teed you up for that. But so, yeah, we played. The Walker told me I had AIDS clip,
of course.
Right?
I remember I watched
Conan.
that originally happened on Conan just the other night, like three
got
times.
The audio if you want it.
Okay, so we played that on the ticket, obviously a lot. We did parodies of it with people down in HR and sales, and somebody sent us one the other day from around that time, late 80s, early 90s, from Mr. Belvedere. And I think in this clip, Mr. Belvedere, he's at home with whatever the kid that he looked after, and one of his friends comes over, and he's apparently run into some problems in life.
Good evening, Mrs. Owens.
Ah, Mr. Belvedere. Will dinner be ready soon?
Personally, I think it was ready 20 minutes ago, but I'm not making it.
My meatloaf.
Hi, Mr. Belvedere. Hello, Danny.
Is Wesley here?
Yes, come on in. Everyone, you remember Wesley's friend, Danny?
Oh, hi, Danny. Hi, Mrs. Owens, Mr. Owens.
Hiya, champ. How's it going?
Well, I got AIDS, but other than that, I'm doing pretty good.
What the fuck?
You like the laugh track on?
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I got AIDS, but
Yeah.
other than that, I'm doing pretty good.
Turns out, much like with scripted sitcoms and family dramas of that time, with drugs, like I referenced the other day, Brad from Home Improvement, they found his weed. A lot of that stuff was paid for by the government. The same way that Walt Disney was paid to make propagandistic, that's probably not a word, but propaganda around the time of World War II.
With all the jingoistic type.
Yeah, here's Bugs Bunny as a paratrooper, and he gets snuck up on by a particular. Yeah, and so I think they did that.
Long for Chuck.
Yeah, I think they did that for AIDS too. And Brandon reached out and said, the Mr. Belvedere AIDS line reminded me of this great cartoon clip from my vault. I can't find any info on which show this came from, but it is no less amazing. Enjoy. So he sent me this video clip. It was clipped from like Instagram or TikTok, and he's like, I don't know what this is. So I did a little forensic work. This is from season 3, episode 11 of the show Captain Planet and the Planeteers.
Year?
1992. I remember that there was a Captain Planet cartoon. I don't recall what all the different iterations of it were, but I remember Captain Planet and the Captain Planet cartoon. This is season 3, episode 11, 1992, A Formula for Hate. And we're going to play the video if you're only doing audio. It's a kid shooting a basketball in the gym by himself, and his coach walks in to try to pep him up a little bit.
Your mother called. She's worried. You want to talk?
Nothing to say. It's all over.
Not the way I hear it.
Coach, I've got AIDS.
Wrong. You're HIV positive. Big difference. It could be years before you even get sick.
Yeah, but it's gonna happen. They probably won't even let me play in the big game.
Wrong again, Andrews. You're gonna be playing in that game, and anybody who says otherwise will have to deal with me.
You sure, Coach?
You worked hard to get here, Todd. I'm not gonna let you quit on me now.
Thanks, Coach.
Come on, let's work on your crossover dribble.
Come on. Let's work on your crossover. I'm watching that clip, and the only thing I see is it's the same effing animators that did G.I. Joe that turned into the Fensler films.
Yeah.
Pork chop sandwiches and all of those.
Body massage machine gold.
Remember when we were passing those
Oh,
around?
my God.
Back when you were 17.
I'm seeing here that might have been LeVar Burton, but I'm not positive.
Let's work on your crossover.
Thanks, Coach.
Come on, let's work on your crossover dribble.
Todd, by the way, let's take it from the top. And I'll tell you, I'll read you the description. Todd Andrews, a high school basketball player, finds out he has HIV/AIDS. Verminous Scum, a character, starts rumors about the disease that turned Todd's schoolmates against him, hoping to spread the disease further. So playing the coach, I believe.
I'm just impressed that Todd's in the gym over Christmas break working on his free throws.
That's very true.
Yeah, that's something
That's very
I
true,
never did.
especially since he's probably going to die.
Right?
The coach by LeVar Burton. Let's listen to the first part with the punchline again, and I will tell you who is voicing Todd.
Your mother called. She's worried. You want to talk?
Nothing to say. It's all over.
Not the way I hear it. Your mother called.
You're good.
She's worried. You want to talk?
Nothing to say. It's all over.
Not the way I hear it.
Coach, I've got AIDS.
Wrong. You're HIV positive. Big
Okay,
difference.
so that is
Your mother
a
called.
Did I recognize that?
19-year-old Neil Patrick Harris.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So Blake, don't feel
It's
so
all
bad.
over.
Not the way I hear it.
Coach, I've got AIDS.
Wrong.
Wow.
He sounds like Doogie Howser at that time.
Yeah, he
right?
sure does.
Coach, I've got AIDS.
Wrong.
Wrong.
I wonder if he, at 19, I mean, gosh, you're 19, you already know that you're gay, right?
It's not just gay dudes that can get it, Danny.
I understand that. But at the time, my point being,
He wanted to spread the awareness about it by appearing in like a PSA.
but I guess what I'm saying, he hadn't come out yet at 19, right?
Probably not. No.
Yeah.
But
just a strange coincidence that they would choose him to read that, and I wonder if he had any conflict with it or if he was happy to do it because, it did hit the gay community probably larger than any other.
Sure, especially back then.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's all over.
Not the way I hear it.
Coach, I've got AIDS.
Back me into a cancelable,
oh, you know where you are.
Corner.
No one can be canceled.
Let's work on your crossover dribble.
That's all I want to hear. Let's work on your crossover dribble.
All right, we'll talk to you in a minute.
Let's work on your crossover dribble.
Let's do it.
People from all over the country are coming to see the ladder, feeling a connection to its symbolism and beauty. Even country singer Alan Jackson has shown up with a song he has written about the ladder. Alan Jackson is, of course, the man who wrote the song Where Were You When the World Stopped Turning about the tragedies on September 11th. And now he's here once again to capitalize on people's emotions. Let's listen in.
Where were you when they built the ladder to heaven? Did it make you feel like crying, or did you think it was kind of gay?
What a beautiful song.
Well, I for one believe in the ladder to heaven. Yeah. 9/11. I said 9/11, 9/11, 9/11, 9/11.
You're listening to The Dumb Zone.
I feel like in that moment, Blake, what he needed was for her to be a friend in low places.
Jesus.
Right?
All right, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And perhaps he needed to wait until the evening because she ain't going down till the sun comes up.
Wow, this guy's on fire.
Okay.
Boom, bitch!
Nope.
Puppet.
Puppet.
All right, thank you. I was gonna say, what do you think you are? Jam Master Jay. Hey, welcome back to the Dumb Zone. I'm Jake Kemp. I'm gonna get one a day. Oh,
again? I'm Dan. For Dan, I'm Dan.
Yeah. We don't have to do any of that, to be honest with you. Reset. I got my first parent-teacher conference this afternoon.
Like the standard one or a bad one?
It's standard. I hope it doesn't turn into standard bad.
Like you and your wife and the teacher?
Mm-hmm.
Not like a group thing?
No, we went to a couple at Montessori, but Montessori's so chill.
Yeah.
It's not really any pressure.
What are you anticipating?
Well, I've looked at a couple of the daily notes, so I'm at least somewhat prepared for the run sheet.
Oh no.
Every kid, they don't get the gold star every day, folks. That's why you got to work for it. It's like I say, Blake. Success,
yeah,
is leased not owned,
mm-hmm.
and rent is due every day.
I've never heard you say that.
Yeah,
he says it.
He just said that he always says that.
Lame JJ
I've known
Watt.
him since he was in high school.
Hey, do you guys know the
Never heard
Mavs
it
start
once.
1 week from today with their regular season?
Man, I am fired up.
Basketball, give me the ball because I'm gonna dunk it. Hey!
That's tough.
Nobody knew this song had lyrics until Jake brought it to the light.
So we
Real
have.
quick, are you prepared to watch the Mavs?
I am, and actually,
how are you prepared?
We have some
Jake?
news on that front.
You got to do better.
Thank you, Coach.
I went on Amazon.com and ordered my digital antenna last week and installed it within, about 3 minutes.
What was the damage?
$40,
Wow.
35, something like that. But the ones that I saw online, they look like these giant obelisks that sit next to your TV. They're like 1.5 feet big. I'm like, I don't want that. My kid plays football in the house.
Yeah, that thing could turn into a football itself real quick.
Totally. But Philips makes this one that's low profile, and it clips onto the top of your TV. You barely even see it, and it worked great. I tested out, was it channel 29?
Yes.
29.1?
We here at the Dumb Zone are on DZTV on channel 27.
Right.
And Phillips is still in the TV game, huh?
Yeah, but they made this antenna, and it works great, and I'm sitting there watching Mexican TV and 720 DPI, baby.
That's important.
Yeah.
Do they still have the rabbit ears?
No, I'm sure they do, but I think most over-the-air broadcasting has gone fully digital, so you have to have a special antenna, but this thing works great.
So the news today, a little bit of a follow-up on the news from last month, which was that Tegna, which is the parent company of WFAA Channel 8, they have a multi-year agreement to broadcast most Maverick games. That'll be 70 this season. And the follow-up today is where all this is going to be shown. So Channel 29, the ABC affiliate, the Tegna product, will be on AT&T UVerse TV, Charter Spectrum, DirecTV, Dish, Frontier Fiber, Fubo. This, pursuant to a conversation we had off the air about knockoff clothing in Mexico, something called Goose, Geus, which I've never heard of before. Grande Communications, One Source Communications, and Optimum. Now, you might noticeably absent from there is your YouTube TV and to probably
Hulu Live.
To a lesser crowd of folks. But there is another way, even in addition to Danny's Phillips contraption. From the morning news, fans' remaining option will be the Mavericks' soon-to-be-announced streaming service/app, and that is going to be announced, details of it, sometime next week.
I bet this happens after Christmas. Don't you think?
No.
You don't think it's going to happen until after the season?
No, I think it's going to happen real quick. I think when it says the soon-to-be-announced streaming service app, it might not be next week. It might be the week after that. It might be the week after that. But I don't think they're missing too many games.
Well, there's a difference between an announcement and when the thing goes live.
That's also true. I could be reading too much into it. I'll probably get the antenna and then also the app when the app is available. But you're right. It does just say soon-to-be-announced. Excuse me. Almost over this.
Are you still recovering from your spit take because of Pussy Man?
That set me back a little bit.
It's worth a rewind too.
So yeah, that's good news. And the upshot of it is that you'll be able to find the Mavs one way or the other. It might not be the normal way that you're used to, but a lot of people couldn't get the normal way.
The normal way for me, and I've told you guys this before, was going to crackstreams some weird extension, hitting the Mavs game you wanted to see, picking somebody that was streaming it, and then fight through having to click off about 15 either gambling or porn ads. And then the thing would collapse, halfway through a game.
Because some guy
cast it to your TV.
Some guy in Romania spilt his coffee on the server that he's running.
And that's how I've watched the Mavs for the last 2.5 seasons, it feels like.
Well, you'll have an option one way or the other this year. And this is just part of it. The landscape is changing. They got to figure out ways to get it to you. And that's what they're doing. So kudos to the Mavs and a hearty FU to the Sinclair Bally Sports situation.
It's going to go down as one of the darkest periods in DFW television history, is the Bally's era.
Yeah. That would felt like it was a bad idea before it really even started. Didn't seem like it was going to work. I don't remember a time ever at its inception where people were like, this is great. It's probably going to work out.
Even the people that got the app and subscribed to it were complaining about it.
That's what I eventually had to do when my the teat that I was suckling from dried out. Yeah. I had a little workaround, and then I got Bally, and I'm like, this thing blows. So the Mavericks, you'll be able to watch them one way or the other this year. So what I'm doing right now is getting myself prepped for Mavs, and one way I'm doing that is going back through a couple of series that are on right now on streaming services. On ESPN Plus, we've mentioned it, but there's a show called NBA Playoffs Clutch. and it's, I want to say 8 episodes, and it just chronicles just the playoffs from last year. They don't really do any Mavs content as far as I can tell until episode 5, because they know that the back half of it is going to be a lot of Mavs because, they were in it that long. But in episode 5, they start with telling PJ Washington's story. And they really start in the Oklahoma City series, but to sort of set the stage for the Oklahoma City series, they have to rewind back to round 1 and tell the story of the Clippers series, which, of course, gave us one of the more famous moments in Mavericks history. And I think Brad Townsend says in here, one that will live in Mavericks lore forever, which is, of course, stand on business.
In the previous series, when the Mavericks play the Clippers, there's a moment that really will live on in Mavericks lore.
Game 2, it was a little chippy.
This game is off to a very physical start.
Frisco
There's
zone.
this moment where Terrence Mann comes up to Luka, and they're scrapping, and PJ gets in the middle of it.
Washington's hot about something.
Terrence Mann came out and he pushed me a little bit and told me to stop looking at their bench, and I was like, you're not gonna stop me. So I went over there and just did this, and it became viral.
Now they're showing all the tweets about it.
And this crowd loves the feistiness of these Dallas Mavericks.
I get excited in those type of moments, just seeing him step up to the challenge and really letting the Clippers know it ain't gonna be what you thought it was, guys.
The way he stood up to the Clippers, he became an overnight hero.
He was stone cold. He was a straight killer in that moment. And it symbolizes what the Dallas Mavericks did that entire series. They stood on business.
And I feel like that's kind of when everybody was like, oh, okay, we got to watch out for Mavs.
Okay. That was such an awesome moment. That playoff run was so much fun, man.
We were there, right? Were we at that game?
Yes.
Yeah, we didn't really know what was going on.
Yeah,
We
you
saw
couldn't
PJ
see it right
standing,
away.
But we were sitting kind of close to the Clippers bench.
Yeah, I didn't
Pretty
know.
awesome to watch unfold.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, the whole run, man, was just.
It felt so unlikely.
It's so unlikely. They were picked to lose every series, every round. If in the Thunder series, which we're about to get into, the Thunder are the 1 seed. I know they were inexperienced, but they were the 1 seed, and the Mavericks, gentlemen, sweeped them. Now, the first 2 games, going back and looking at it and hearing people talk about it, both the first 2 games it was a 3-point game and a 1-point game, just as a reminder of how insanely thin the margins are in these things. A couple shots here and there, and you're down 0-2. It's wild. So we progress through the Thunder series. We'll have some more audio from that. But then the other show that is on right now.
They won in 6 against the Thunder.
They did?
What am I thinking of?
Timberwolves.
It was 3 points and 1
Yes,
point.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's right. So the Thunder series 6, this series, the Timberwolves series 5, and that Timberwolves series is featured not only in the ESPN Plus show, but in Netflix's Starting 5, which is about the entire 23-24 season, and it features LeBron, Domantas Sabonis, Anthony Edwards, and I don't remember who else right off the top of my head, but it's just those 5 guys.
So I've
follow
seen
them,
and I'm sure a lot of us have seen a bunch of Anthony Edwards clips that have
he's in both
been going viral lately, talking about. I think one of them was when Luka made like 4 threes in a row. I've seen that one a bunch. And which one, where are these coming from is what I was wondering. And you told me, there's not one, but 2 series.
There's 2 of them, and Anthony Edwards is heavily featured in both because Starting 5, like I said, it's Ant, Lebron, Domantas Sabonis, Jimmy Butler, and Jason Tatum. And it's pretty good because Jimmy Butler's super entertaining. Anthony Edwards is really entertaining, but LeBron is just very off-putting in this setting. He's just doing his image bit, and I don't know, but it's LeBron. So in this particular late in the season episode, the Mavericks are playing the Timberwolves. They're talking to Ant, and that is the recording that Danny is speaking of, and it's pretty funny to go back and watch.
And the Wolves do it again and push this best of 7 back to Dallas.
For game 5, I was ready to go.
we always ready to go. Like, when we got in the locker room, we was putting our jersey and we was ready to bust their ass. But Luka had other intentions. For sure, he had other intentions.
Luka along the left side, the hash mark, over Edwards for three. He hits again. And I think Luka wants to send a message to Anthony Edwards here.
The motherfucker came out and made 4 threes from one step inside half court.
Luka on the logo. What is going on here? Doncic again, another 3. Got it, he's a flamethrower.
Half-court trade is crazy.
That's Ant on the bench, just looking over like half-court. What is happening?
Dude, he cures my Cowboys blues.
Luka?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like actually having a guy that performs in the play. I don't know. It just
Performs in
makes me
the
happy.
playoffs and listening to other NBA players talk about him is always so cool.
Yeah.
Probably because we were deprived. Like, after his career, the love Dirk gets is crazy.
Well, it took.
But during.
It was the back 40% of his career before Dirk got any street cred, any respect at all. I mean, he had to win the title.
Yeah.
Luka's getting it out of the box.
Yes. And from Ant especially, who's been anointed as, the face of the league, is he baby Jordan?
And he starts the starting 5 with I'll go with LeBron. Like, I don't care. Like, he has no respect for anyone, and for him to say that about Luka is really cool.
At that point, we ain't got no energy. He took it all.
Edwards. He'll thrust his way to the line and fire with effort. Rebound, Luka Doncic. Off the glass. Off the glass. He gives the Jordan shrug while running down.
Luka.
But this shit got me so fucking mad, bro.
The Western Conference champions of the Dallas Mavericks. They're going to the NBA Finals.
Next year, bro. Next year when we get in this position, we're going to be right back here. And whoever we see, whoever their best player is, bro, we not letting these, bro, they don't let me get shit.
That's kind of funny, too, as a comment for the Mavs defense last year, especially in the playoffs, because Luka just destroyed the Timberwolves in that closeout game. And that was Ant's takeaway is like, how are we letting him do this and they're not letting me get shit?
Yeah.
Like, they know they just have to stop me, and they did.
And I don't know if this is not necessarily a momentum, but you wonder, or we question, because these guys are professionals, they're getting paid, whatever. Why can't they respond? When he was talking about being spent or having nothing left, he wasn't talking about physically.
Yeah.
He was talking about emotionally.
It broke
them. Yes. So 4 threes in a row. And in the way he was doing it, he dismantled them emotionally. He was in their heads. That's what he's talking about. So all of that aspect of the game is very real. That you can basically render somebody useless into the point of giving up.
Yeah, and
that's kind of what he was saying there.
And Luka's very good at that. And
very good.
As great as Dirk is,
Luka's mean.
That's the thing. Is like Dirk could put up the exact same numbers, but it felt different.
It
felt
clean.
demoralizing.
It was very clean when Dirk would do it. And you were kind of in awe that this guy was 7 feet tall and making the shots that he was making. And with Luka, you're kind of scared of him.
Yeah.
Like when he walks on the court, the sample size is big enough now. You've seen enough to know what this cat's about. And I think you're at a disadvantage walking onto the court the second 77 takes the ball.
I mean, that's how Jordan was. That's how Kobe was. And that's the thing is that, if high school basketball coaches would hit you with, 2 points is 2 points. Right? Or like this 3 is the same as that 3.
That's kind of my point. We're all professionals. They're just
pass.
baskets. No, what I'm saying is the weight of how it's being done and who's doing it is powerful.
Yeah.
It's powerful to demoralize you.
And I think that flashy plays do that to people. I think when somebody does something, I mean, Ann just said it, like 4 just a couple steps inside half court. Yeah, it's still only worth 3. But at some point you're like, what am I'm not going all the way out there every time. You're right. It just
because he's just going to
down mentally,
basically bubble butt waltz me into the lane and dish it out for somebody else to make a 3 or some wild ass fadeaway.
But I did think hearing Ant talk about this was really cool. I'm only going to play like another minute.
I
but
like how he's kind of jolly about it.
Yeah, I
Kinda
mean,
laughing.
he
Like,
is kind of like, and this is, I think, on the car ride home. They showed him in the tunnel. You can barely hear it, but he went over to Luka, and he's like, man, I'm super happy for you. Go win it. And, you know, obviously you can say we'll be right back here next year, but who knows? I mean, there's absolutely no guarantee the Mavericks make it to the conference finals this year. But here's the last one.
We thought we was going to sweep them. Soon we won Game 7. We like, yeah, these boys cook. We know what's going on. We did underestimate them. That's just honestly what happened. That's why we lost.
Damn, bro.
This is the card.
I'm happy for them, though. I ain't gonna lie. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for Kyrie. But we just don't make other players beat us. I mean, at this point, it's too late to talk about it, so it don't even matter. But I'm happy for Kyrie that, like, he get a chance to go back to the finals without Bron. Show people, like, he don't need Bron. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? So I'm happy for him. I'm mad I ain't get to chop it up with him after the game, but chop it up. I'm happy for Luka, too. I'll be back. I got a lot of years. I'll be back. I'll be back and better, man. I'm good. Told my teammates, pick y'all heads up. Take your losses how you take your wins, man. Chin up, man. Let's move on. Be all right.
I really
That's
like
cool, man.
I really like that guy.
Who's filming him on the drive home?
Netflix. It's
So-
him, his wife, in the back of a big SUV, and Netflix is there. They go to his house.
So
afterwards,
they had
kids there.
They had that much access.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
So but they only do it for 5 players, but they're there all the time.
Okay.
They're, you know,
And you said LeBron's playing to the camera and doing the LeBron thing?
Yeah.
Okay. I find that to be somewhat insufferable at times.
Yes, it really is. Like the first scene that we played before was like his Halloween party, and he's like, everyone knows how much I love Halloween, and it's just, I mean, I guess I've seen before he has big Halloween parties, but it's just.
Did he show you his library full of books with marks on page 3?
That's right.
This is my library.
Yeah. He's just so insufferable at times. But Anthony Edwards is awesome in this show. Like when they get home, he's walking up and he's all tired. He's like, what the fuck is that? And he lives in Minnesota, kind of like out in the suburb country. And he's like, oh, fucking frog. Netflix zooms in on a frog kind of jumping by his front door. It's hilarious. Like he's a funny dude, and he's so young. And
He's so
he knows
likable,
it too.
man.
He knows it because at the end of the episode, he's like, your prime is at 26. He's like, I'm doing this at 21, 22. And he's like, just look out. But the same could be said for Luka.
Mm-hmm.
So the Mavs, you can watch them.
How old is
Hasn't
Luka
always
now?
been
22, 3?
22, probably, right?
He'll probably
Oh, my God. How am I this wrong? 25?
Yeah, I was
Lucas 25?
He was 22 when Kid took over.
That's right.
Okay. I'm an idiot.
So he'll be 26
February.
early in the season. Yeah.
It's during the season.
Yeah,
Or
of
middle
course.
of the season.
And Anthony Edwards, right now,
22 sounds right.
23.
Okay.
Same birthday as me.
Hey.
I'm sure you needed to know that.
8-5.
All right. Well, that's
where the similarities end.
Uh-huh. Oh, hey.
Hey.
Today's news is brought to you by Lone Star.
Man, I want to say something about Lone Star. So when a company gets naming rights, say for AT&T to get their name on the stadium, they pay a lot of money for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lone Star is the official beer of the entire state of Texas.
Yeah.
And you know how much they paid for that?
How much?
Nothing.
Why?
They called Texas and said, hey, man, we want to be the official state beer of Texas. And Texas goes, yeah, that all makes sense. Just do it because you already are. Now we'll just make it official. Isn't that amazing? Like, what could be more synonymous with this state than Lone Star beer? I don't know. How about nothing?
Yeah, authentically Texan. They now have a Lone Star Light, which comes in a blue can, which is delicious.
You're a big fan.
I'm
You a blue can guy or a red can guy?
I love the red can.
Mhm.
I love the original, but as far as light beers go, Lone Star Light is awesome. They also have awesome merch. I think I wear their I forget what they call it, but the little cowboy on the back.
Yep.
They got awesome merch. Dumbzone 21 is your promo code to get 21% off merchandise. Why 21? Because you got to be 21 or older to purchase.
That all makes sense.
Crisp flavor, perfect with a tray of barbecue, really perfect with anything. Lone Star.
Speaking of that merch real quick, buddy of mine makes all of their merch in Fort Worth, Texas. and I happened to acquire one of the Lone Star shirts.
Not in China?
No, in Fort Worth.
Oh.
I mean, look, we get it, Lone Star. You're Texas. No one's arguing with you. Buddy of mine was in town from the UK, and I gave him one of those Lone Star shirts. You think that I would have given him like a brand new Fender Stratocaster? He was so excited because he loves Texas, and what could be more Texas than that T-shirt? Because it says Lone Star.
Thank you, Lone Star.
Here's Jake with the Dumb Zone News.
You know who that guy is on that voiceover, Danny?
No, but he says that kind of snotty.
He does.
I like it.
He is the guy who voiced one of Blake's Nintendo games, Halo.
Are you serious?
You do know Halo is like the most popular video game in the world. Not currently, but as far as like charisma.
Charisma?
It's a very,
What?
What does that even mean?
It just means that people are passionate about it. It was
Gets the
a lot of
people
people's
going?
first shooter is why people were buying Xbox consoles. It's a big deal.
It was. Did you say it was the first-person shooter?
No, I said it was the reason why a lot of people bought the original Xbox.
Right.
But you treat it like I'm playing Pikmin or something over here.
What the hell's Pikmin?
Exactly.
Is that a game?
Yeah, it's cool. You got these little things that followed you around, and they would do what you told them to.
I'm sorry. What is he talking about?
I don't know, man.
I thought this was the news.
I'll be the judge here. Is it Pikmin?
I want to play the video game that has things following you around and you tell them what to do.
P-I-K.
I think that's just called schizophrenia.
Oh, Pikmin was cool.
They usually tell you what to do.
That's true.
Yeah.
Hush up.
I'm not going to murder my family.
They have
Get
a
out of
new
here.
one out.
All right, I thought this was the news.
That's for you to decide.
So there is a wild criminal justice situation unfolding here in the state of Texas. Robert Robertson III. He is facing execution today. If you've not followed this story, 57-year-old guy was convicted back in 2003 capital murder for reportedly shaking his then 2-year-old daughter, Nikki, to death out in Palestine.
I can't handle stories like this.
The first time I read about this case, I thought, how did this go down like this? She was very, very ill. The little girl. She had pneumonia. They'd been to multiple doctors multiple times. And then she died. They say that she had trauma consistent with abuse. There was a detective in the case that supported the prosecution. And now there is new science, new technology in solving crime. And they've tried to use some of these laws, like I think it's called the junk science law, to go back and re-adjudicate some of these cases. There was a guy, Cameron Todd Willingham. I believe that was also Texas, or I know it was. And the fire science back then, as far as like looking at a building that was burned and how they determined where the fire was coming from and how it started, is like night and day from when he was put to death. And his attorneys were trying to say, like, yeah, this case was 20 years ago. You know, most commonly it's DNA.
Yeah, that's kind of the arson equivalent of DNA, maybe.
And they would say, you know, there's people that are like, no, the people who were doing this sort of fire science, Blake, back then, like all science, it's better now.
Right.
We should take that into account. That's what his defense attorneys, of course, are saying. And now he has been subpoenaed by the House in Texas. The House committee is calling for him to testify at noon on Monday in Austin. He's set to be executed tonight.
Uh-oh.
Which he will not be able to testify, I gather, if that unfolds as currently planned. And so all the articles about this on all of our local sites, they try to get an expert to weigh in on this, and they're like, look, I have no idea what this means because this doesn't happen. You know, nobody gets a subpoena served to them 18 hours before they're set to met their maker. We don't know what's going to happen. But it's a big enough deal to where a pretty huge swath of bipartisan support in the Texas House, including Jeff Leach, who I believe is like the Frisco area and all that. He was a huge ticket listener. Have written to Abbott and been like, we have to do something about this. And the detective that gave a vehement testimony in favor of his conviction has since completely flipped on that and said, the more we look at this, I made a massive mistake. This dude is undoubtedly innocent. And he would be the first person, I believe, ever put to death for the shaken baby law.
This, I wish I had the details in front of me, but maybe several weeks ago, it sounds similar to that case of the death row inmate, Missouri, maybe, where a lot of evidence and people that were in law enforcement were going back on saying, no, we've seen there's better evidence that proves that this guy may not be the one. It was supposed to be carried out, his execution, and they just rushed to get it done.
Yeah.
And I don't understand the death penalty states that when stuff like this happens, why can't you just say, you know what, let's hold off a day. Let's listen to this. The governors are so adamant
rack
about
up numbers,
making sure these things are carried out by the letter of the law. And there's no room for – because, look, man, after tonight, you don't get to do this over.
Right.
And I can only imagine what I would feel like if I was one of the victims of something that put me in a position where I had to deal with a perpetrator and his execution and his actions directly affected my life in a way. I can't say that I'd be like, you know what? Yeah, he needs to die. Or if I would have any empathy at all, I'm not in that position. I never have been. So it would be foolish for me to say definitively one way or the other. The one thing that I don't love about the death penalty is the irreversibility of the sentence once it's complete. And it's a shame because I'm sure a lot of folks have been executed that absolutely did nothing or didn't deserve it.
What if
they're in jail for life without parole?
It's not as bad.
It's not as bad.
What if
and they got to live with those thoughts in their head every day.
What if someone is put to death unjustly? That's pretty bad. What if they were put to death unjustly after losing their 2-year-old daughter to illness and being blamed for her death? Honestly, at some point you might rather die. Let's just fucking end this.
Yeah.
Because I'm tired of people thinking I killed my daughter. Whatever's on the other side might be better. That's honestly I bet he's arrived at that point.
If, in fact, he did nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're hopeless. And so apparently Texas did pass a law in 2013 that I mentioned, the junk science law, which the idea of it is that when new scientific evidence, pioneering research and evidence is emerging, that new trials will take place in cases where, flawed scientific evidence was used. But apparently that doesn't happen all that often. Texas Tribune article says the state's highest criminal court has rejected most of those challenges because nobody likes admitting being wrong.
Boy, once you get a case in the black, you don't put that horse back in the barn.
Right. It's not like if you get a win and somebody ends up getting killed, it's not like if you win a national championship in college and they put an asterisk on it. Like you still won. You still got it. This is like actual life and it's real. So this is going to be fascinating to see how this unfolds over the day because who's in charge? The parole board, which recently denied his request, or
the governor, right?
The governor ultimately, yeah. But I mean, I think the hope is that if they subpoena him, he testifies, then they can get to Abbott. And because it's a lot of Republicans on board, maybe he doesn't have to take a political loss if he backtracks on it.
Boy, you and I, probably all of us, have watched enough cop shows to know that nothing will piss off a detective or a DA more than new evidence that might exonerate your arrest.
I know.
They hate that.
Hey, Video Man, will you do an image search for me for something real quick? Is it possible, or is that crazy? I just thought of this. So I told you that guy's name was Jeff Leach. Big ticket listener. I think he's Plano, Addison. I don't know. He's up there in the north somewhere. Beyond the wall. Jeff Leach. Search Jeff Leach Tony Romo. I feel like Rogan when he does that now. Hey, Jimmy, search that. And they just sit there for 10 minutes trying to pull up Google.
Well, they don't have Rob.
So Jeff Leach, what I remember about him is the Texas legislature did some sort of weird deal for Tony Romo. Like they honored him. Do you remember this, Blake?
Why?
He appeared, this is back in 2017, like he had just retired, and they honored Tony Romo for making it to the divisional round.
Oh.
And the photo that was taken on the floor of the house that day down in Austin was absolutely hilarious because Jeff Leach, in full, house member gear, suit and everything, and like the very fancy floor of the house, he's wearing that and also just a Cowboys football helmet.
Wearing a helmet?
That's amazing.
It's a really funny image, but I also forgot that I might need this and forgot to tell Rob about it. So we're going to do another story.
So Romo got to do that. He got to play with the Mavs for a game.
Yeah.
He got a pretty big send-off for not
Well, because the team
making
didn't do
a title
anything.
Game.
The team did nothing.
What did Troy get? Pat on the back?
Yeah, not much.
Bunch of concussions? Yeah, let's celebrate Romo, though.
So apparently one of the guys from One Direction was having a bit of a tough time. Liam Payne, who many people kind of describe to me as like the least famous one.
Who's the most?
Probably Harry Styles, Big Harry Styles. That guy's super famous.
But below him?
There's a guy named Zayn.
Zayn.
That I think had some good songs. Zayn, I recognize
sure?
Zayn. I listen to pop music, so.
Because of the kids?
No.
Because of rehab?
No, I like.
Because he's gay.
I like Harry Styles.
He's gay.
There's a couple Zayn songs I like. My workout playlist, a lot of Katy Perry.
Mm-hmm.
Dua Lipa.
Carly Rae Jepsen, Dua Lipa.
I like Dua Lipa.
Pretty much anything but Taylor Swift. I don't vibe with Taylor Swift at all.
I like Fireworks.
I don't know
Or
that.
Firework by Katy Perry. That's a good jam.
Yeah, that's a great song.
Yeah, I like that. Cool, man.
Hit me like a firework.
Yeah, there's Jeff Leach sitting
There
there.
he is. The hat looks a little big,
What
doesn't
on
it?
earth?
Yeah, he's got a suit on with a cowboy helmet. It does. It's not. Trust me.
No chin strap.
No. None. He's like, look at me. I got a helmet on. And I'm a Texas congressperson.
Let's go.
So back to One Direction. Liam Payne. He was 31 years old. He had some dalliances with the treatment centers himself. Dealt with addiction for a long time. Well, he was in Argentina. And he's now dead in Argentina.
Oh.
Yeah. So this started surfacing yesterday afternoon, and it was a wild story because he had posted to Snapchat roughly an hour before his death was reported from his hotel room. But apparently he got real messed up on all sorts of drugs, drank a whole lot, and then started trashing his hotel room. And some, I guess, maids, I don't know what you would call them at a hotel, house cleaners, called 911. That call is public. It's in Spanish. But the manager called 911 as well about, hey, there's a guy here, aggressive man who's under the influence of drugs or alcohol, while he was trashing that hotel room in Argentina. He either intentionally or inadvertently jumped from the balcony of his room.
Holy crap. What
Yeah.
floor?
I think the third. Yeah. And now the photos of his room have surfaced. It's,
grim.
Wax and crumpled aluminum foil, a smashed TV, a bottle of whiskey, a glass of champagne, all the accoutrement of rock star life. I mean, it's, a bunch of matches and, yeah. I think he was worth like $70 million.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. I don't think you understand how big how big these bands are. And I mean, a lot of them don't end up making that much money because they don't have, any rights to their stuff.
Sure.
But when you're that big, you end up on pretty solid footing, tours and whatnot.
If that guy, the third
70
tier,
million, yeah.
the third tier One Direction man is worth 70, and he probably didn't write a damn song.
You want to do Harry Styles?
No, what I'm thinking of is how rich are the people that own the publishing for that music?
That's a good question.
I mean, he had to make that money largely off of merchandising and touring.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The people that own the publishing, you don't know their name. They're the man behind the man behind the man behind the throne, and they go and have sex at Diddy's freak parties and have tunnels to Epstein's house. So yeah, 70 mil. He's gone, folks. I did see some funny. The thing with social media is just the speed at which something can become a joke.
He jumped in one direction and it was straight down.
Yeah, and nobody's even mad at you for making that joke.
No,
They're
there's
like,
no there's no such thing as too soon.
No,
anymore.
we've completely eliminated that. I mean, hell,
The Trump assassination.
yeah, for sure.
I mean,
really anything. I mean, it took us like 10 years to start being like, okay, Saudi Arabia flew 2 planes into the World Trade Center. That's at least kind of funny.
You couldn't joke about AIDS for a really long time.
Right.
Well, you could when it was happening.
What do you mean?
No, when it was new.
People joked then?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
all the
cool.
time.
Cool. I'm glad.
But then once they realized that it wasn't okay to do
bad?
that, then
Yeah.
it was bad. And now it's fun again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But seriously, dude.
Work
I mean,
on
people
crossover dribble.
Nobody's making
Right.
jokes about 9/11 or Vietnam, and truthfully, you probably shouldn't. But people do, and now, I mean, I saw one that was like, man, it was like a screenshot of a text exchange from a couple of like really big One Direction fans, and they were like, "This is like horrific. This is probably they're English people, right?
Yeah,
English fans are like this had to have been what it was like, when for our parents when one of the Beatles died." And the first reply was like, "Well, maybe Ringo."
He's still alive.
I know, but I guess they're just trying to
Yeah,
make
right.
sure we know
At
Liam's
least it's
place
not Harry.
in the hierarchy.
Let's work on your crossover dribble. Your mother called, dude.
All right, so
Your mother called.
what does the name Demetrius Flinnery mean to the two of you boys?
I got
Demetrius Flinnery is better known as Big Meech.
Keep going.
Big Meech referenced in many, many hip-hop songs over the years, including most recently a Pusha T song, Where Were You When Big Meech Brought the Tigers Out? He would just walk actual live tigers into a club.
Yeah, none of this is registering.
Big Meech was one of the largest...
Is he related to Big Crit?
No.
Because they both say big.
Big
in
Meech,
their
not
names?
a hip-hop artist.
Oh.
He was one of the biggest drug traffickers in America for about 20 years.
In America?
Yeah.
Okay.
Money laundering. He was
So he was like...
he was running the streets all over America.
He was the El Chapo of the United States.
Pretty much.
Okay.
He did 20 years. And
What was his net worth? Was it more or less than $70 million?
I think it was less at the time of arrest, I'm going to say, but who knows? At his peak, maybe he had racked up Liam Payne money, but 50 Cent is going to do apparently a documentary and TV series about Meech because he is now out of prison after 20 years and serving a few more years in a halfway house. Again, this is him right here. This is Big Meech on the screen. Referenced in, I don't know, dude, at least 10 rap songs that I can think of right now. Now, when I think of Big Meech, I think of a political ad that I saw some years ago. This, I want to say, was from 2018, and it was an ad, a Republican primary ad in South Carolina, okay? And this guy is running for this candidacy, and he puts out a political ad where he says he's going to just try to get in front of a few things, which is I commend the strategy. And here's that ad. For the audio people, we'll just listen to this guy. He's got a shaved head. He's a smallish white man. Looks like Mr. Clean, but small. Very well put together, and he's got a really interesting voice for a guy who's a cop from South Carolina trying to sell you on tough on crime.
I'll be the first to tell you, I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes.
Sit in the subway,
and I
talking
wish
to
I
voters.
can change a thing or two. But that's part of life. Learning, growing, moving forward, and becoming a better person.
Sure.
That's
And
why
shaking
I
hands
want to
with
tell
voters.
you at the start of my campaign some things that politicians would try to hide.
That's
Things
smart.
my opponents may try to use to tarnish my integrity.
Do it on your terms.
As a 16-year-old, I received a ticket for not having my driver's license in my possession.
Whatever, man.
I've been married, divorced, and remarried.
That happens.
I've
Look,
lost my
it's with his
temper and been
family.
reprimanded at work.
It happens to the
I've
best
been in
of us.
fender benders that were my fault.
Okay.
And about 10 years ago, as a young police officer, I attended a law enforcement Halloween party dressed as ruthless drug kingpin Big Meech Flannery. I did it to disparage a criminal whose actions hurt our community and country. That was a different time.
It was.
Today, we understand that type of costume is troubling to many.
Now back to me, hold the baby. Skip the quick image I showed of me in full blackface to a point where I have done all of my dome up top, all of my arms, and he's got like a FUBU shirt on.
Oh, my goodness.
Right before that one.
I bet he was a big hit.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's posing with another officer who is, in fact, a black woman who seems to find the costume hilarious.
I like his excuse. The reason he dressed up like Big Meech is to disparage his name.
Yeah, and he leaned in hard on the bit.
Man.
And about 10 years ago, at a law enforcement Halloween party.
How old is that video?
I think it's 2018 or 2019.
Okay.
And I also love that.
So grainy.
I love the groundwork of the way he tried to lay it. He's like, I have been in fender benders that are my fault. He's just leading you along like, buddy, we're on your side. Like, that happens to everybody. I have been divorced. You're like,
And
so what?
remarry.
Most of us have
Yeah,
been divorced.
Not a big deal.
And about 5 years ago,
I was waiting for it to
I did
escalate.
full blackface to a degree that you've probably never even seen before.
That's right, but I did it to disparage a terrible, terrible criminal named Big Meech.
Oh, man. And finally, a local story here that ended in death. The story of a deadly Dallas love triangle. Shout out to Fox 4's website for that banger of a headline. One killed in Southeast Oak Cliff shooting. This happened over at the Estill Village Apartments, and multiple witnesses say that they saw a shooting occur, the suspect leaving in a silver. Anybody want to guess? I don't care if people say this is racist. You're close.
PT Cruiser.
Come on.
What?
Play for real. I'll give
Escalade.
Rob one more because he was close. Dodge Charger. Yes.
Mino drives a Charger.
I think he drives.
Or has he got the Challenger?
Yeah, it's a Charger.
Okay. They're both, but yeah, those are both very popular.
So Mino killed someone?
Oh, no.
I don't think so. The Challenger's the two-door. I think that's what Mino had.
I'm more impressed that he was in a love triangle, if that's the case.
With a back like that. So there was a man, 36-year-old man, shot in the parking lot. He was taken to a nearby hospital where he died. The officers had actually had contact with the deceased and the suspect before the shooting happened, just a few minutes before. They took down that license plate number. So these two guys are beefing in the parking lot. The cops show up, and they're like, all right, you guys scram. Get out of here. And they took the guy who left's license plate. Well, that guy turned around with a cop's gun, came back and shot him.
And this was all
Suspect is
over-
22-year-old Alonzo Green. He was found about 5 miles away in the Redbird neighborhood. They arrested him. He had blood on his shoes, and the gun was found inside the Charger. Like, Did you not immediately go into cover-up mode?
Maybe he had more work to do.
What if he needed it?
He told detectives he drove from his home to the parking lot and shot Brown. What you should have asked for was a lawyer. So one witness who was there admitted that she was in a sexual relationship with both Green and Brown, and they had recently been arguing with each other over their relationship with her.
That's her?
No, sir. You know that's not her. That's the shooter.
She's beautiful. I get it now.
Yeah, I just can't. I don't know. I mean, I think the interesting thing about it is the age discrepancy. Like, I want to know how old
he's
she
22.
is. And the deceased is the victim's 36.
Okay. She's probably closer to 22 is my guess.
Yeah, you're probably right. And the 22-year-old is mad because
Why are you dating old man?
Yeah, and the old man is probably, I'm going to assume, maybe a little bit better off financially.
It typically goes
Typically,
that way.
not always, not even
No?
most of the time, I suppose. But yeah, let's just say, he's offering something. Look, I mean, right now,
Was he the one in the Charger?
no, the 22-year-old was. Charger's a nice car.
Yeah.
You're right. But as a guy who is in his late 30s, I can tell you right now, I am at my sexual peak. So I understand if that's what she was, if she was after. Like, I totally get a 22-year-old being threatened by virility right now.
I'm still waiting for mine.
Yeah, no, that's crazy because that just means it can.
Does it get any better, Rob?
I think it gets better into your 50s. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yep. That's what they say. That's why pharmaceutical companies push all those pills at 13-year-olds.
Yep.
Because they need it. All right, Blake, there's your news.
The Dumb Zone News. Like and subscribe.
Today's Today in History.
Yeah, Blake.
See, I got a lot of pages open.
Uh-huh.
So I got to scroll down.
Okay.
Qualis.
Qualis.
How could I forget?
I don't know.
Qualis Roofing.
Tell me about it, Blake.
Let's see. Well, they can do it all. While you were
What all is that?
Well, obviously they do your roof, do your roof inspection if you need it.
Yep.
I also found out they do carports if you're into that. So it kind of sounds like any general construction you need, which is probably why they threw
The GC
on their website.
It's all
They
making
can do
sense.
it. They're huge fans of the show, and if you get a roof with Qualis, you will get a studio visit on Qualis.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. We've heard from P1s who have P1s. I can still say that. It doesn't matter. Whatever.
They won't see.
It's hardwired. We've heard from listeners who have actually had Qualis out and said, why would I go with anyone else besides Qualis? We got some weird weather here in Tejas. And the insurance companies say you probably want to have that thing checked out twice a year. So when you're going to do that, do it with Qualis. Have them out. Have them check it out. Their number, 817-500-9008, like Blake said. They'll pay for a $690 on your behalf. Just for the inspection, they'll give you a free DZ T-shirt to any listener. So, like I said, have them out. They'll do the roof repair. Also, storm restoration services, roof maintenance, carports, like Blake said. Don't take any risks when it comes to the roof. It's literally just protecting your house. You want to live without a roof?
No.
Good. You don't have to.
What am I, a caveman?
With Qualis Roofing.
I guess a caveman has a cave, so caves have roofs.
That's right. Get out of the Stone Age with Qualis Roofing at QualisGC.com.
That's a good idea.
The Dumb Zone
I
presents
said that, actually, yeah.
Today in History.
I didn't prepare anything for this. I hope someone's got this.
We got you.
Okay.
Oh, you don't?
No one said anything.
It's Blake's. This is Blake's bit. He said, let me do it.
Well, let's see what I can quickly find about today.
Okay.
I guess it's October 17th, the 291st
Holy
day of the
shit.
year. There are 75 days left in the year. Let me think. Back in 1610, King Louis VIII, age 9, was crowned.
Yeah, they would do that on you, man. I think I'd ride with Barron.
Isn't Barron like 6'10"?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. He's a baller.
Do you think he can dunk?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
If you play sports at all, and yesterday I was watching Barron Trump's soccer highlights.
Why?
Yo, because it's hilarious. Because
How do you have time?
Well, it was just like somebody put it together on Twitter.
Okay.
And he was like, he's 6'9" now.
Is he really 6'9"?
Yeah.
Good grief.
But he was like 6'3", 6'4" when he was probably 12 or 13.
I'm afraid Malcolm's going to be stupid tall.
And him playing soccer.
Afraid? That's great.
Look, let me put it this way. If you are 6'8" or over and not in the NBA, you're pretty much just a waste of carbon.
Yeah. You want to be like 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah.
6'5" is pushing it.
Probably got a big dong, though.
Yeah. You kid packing, bro? Yeah, look at Barrett.
He does okay. All right, he does okay.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Look at him.
But do that again.
He's so big.
Man, that's awesome.
He's so big.
In 1931, mobster Al Capone was convicted in Chicago of income tax evasion.
That's what they got him on.
Yep.
And then didn't he die in prison of syphilis?
I think so. I know he had it.
Yeah.
Syphilis killed a lot of our famous leaders.
Didn't George Washington have it?
That's what I've been led to believe. I think like they all did, dude. Christopher Columbus had it.
So this was all pre-penicillin, right?
Yes.
Yeah. When did penicillin get invented?
Early 20th century, right? No, wait. Al Capone died after that.
Maybe he was an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah, probably so. He was really into Jenny McCarthy.
In
1928 is penicillin. So,
Okay.
around the time. But yeah, no, let's check this out. Lots of crazy people. Christopher Columbus, Cortez, Benito Mussolini, and Ivan the Terrible. All sift out. Hitler.
All the mean people.
That's what I'm saying. Do you not know about syphilis, bro? Syphilis comes for your brain.
Really?
Yeah, it's a neuro disease at some point. It's not just a discharge, you know?
Look at him.
That's what I'm saying, man. You tell me, like, if he's played sports at all,
Come on,
you get
hustle,
6'9".
Baron.
Dude, he is a stretch 4 playing soccer.
Yeah, you tell me that kid can't dunk at 6'9" now?
He's just walking.
It's all he needs to do.
I love that he's number 81. Just so.
Aaron Hernandez.
It's just not a soccer number. In 1978, President Carter, which I did love this yesterday. Or was it today? Yeah, Liam Payne died.
That was in the news.
Jimmy Carter outlived Liam Payne.
Right.
That's a fun one, yeah.
Anyway, he signed a bill restoring U.S. citizenship to Confederate President Jefferson Davis.
Woke.
In 2018, recreational marijuana became legal to buy in Canada, making it the second country in the world to legalize the drug after Uruguay.
It's Uruguay. Wait, can you know that?
Birthdays, former Ranger John Rocker is 50.
Oh, man.
Those
are fun times.
Doesn't it seem like
That's
he
a
should
hard
be
5-0,
67 or something?
I was genuinely excited when the Rangers got him on board.
I'm not surprised.
He was useless here.
Newsmax Blake.
Danny Ferry's 58.
Dan.
Ernie Els, 55.
Very funny.
Very strange audio.
Very strange. When Martine Rowley was out at a golf tournament and was playing up the over-sexualized female reporter with Ernie Els and VJ Singh. Yeah, well, VJ was looking for a little bit of a sexual favor. If he wanted to, I want to take care of him for a long flight home. Kind of went England on the end there. Lost
VJ's
myself
so
Africa.
uncomfortable in that audio. He's laughing, but he's still somewhat interested.
Yes.
So he kind of wants to see how it plays out.
Drunk.
Holly Holm is 43.
Who's that?
The MMA fighter.
Oh, I remember
Did
her.
she take down Rousey?
I don't know.
Okay. I don't know why I asked. I don't care. Matthew McFadden is 50. McFadden?
From
Wob Scams and Succession.
Oh,
Succession,
wow.
That's right.
Man, I was really pissed off when I found out he was British.
Shocking.
Like all.
Why didn't he tell anybody?
I know. That's why I ride with cousin Greg. American.
Astronaut Mae Jemison is 68.
I'm going to say that was the first black woman in space.
The bio note here is first black woman in space, and then it says a twofer.
She did it twice?
No, because they got to check 2 boxes there.
Oh.
It doesn't say that.
It says that. It says it.
It says that because Blake made the list.
I did.
Or because Dan made the list.
Yes.
Well, Blake's
not me.
Blake's doing this off the top of his head.
That's right.
All
He's
the
found
history.
out.
Yeah.
Let's see what else.
A twofer.
Alan Jackson is 66.
Hell yeah.
Here to capitalize on people's emotions.
Yes. I
Chattahoochee
love Alan
man,
Jackson.
right?
Good stuff.
Yep.
5 o'clock somewhere.
I've karaoke'd the shit out of Chattahoochee.
I bet you have.
It's
bet you
fun.
have.
And people go, whoa.
Yeah.
Mike Judge is 62.
The legend.
Mm-hmm.
Wood Harris is 55.
Wood Harris?
The Wire.
He is Avon Barksdale.
His name's Wood?
Yeah.
Wood.
No kidding.
He's not just Avon Barksdale.
What was he in recently that was really good?
He's Julius.
An Apple show.
Julius with
What was that?
Remember
Did
the
you watch that,
Titans.
Rob? Yeah, with Natalie Portman. That was really good. Forget what it was.
Richard Roper is 65. Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC is 53. Wyclef Jean is 55. Ziggy Marley's 56.
So Wyclef, I think he's probably got some Kemp spins. You know, people were mad at him for the way that the funds to Haiti were working. But what I really remember
Was
about
he
him,
misappropriating
Jake? I think he might have been.
Can you misappropriate anything other than fun?
That's what I'm saying.
Good question.
That definitely belongs on our list.
Now you can appropriate something.
Right. Culturally.
Yeah.
What I remember was in 2016, Zaza Pachulia was on the Mavs. And I have no idea why. But Wyclef was super stoked on him.
This what you're saying is jarring my memory about this.
And he almost got Zaza Pachulia in the NBA All-Star game. Let me see if this plays. I bet it won't, but yeah, that won't play through there. But he just wrote a little song and posted a Twitter video of him singing about Zaza Pachulia.
Okay, so I put misappropriate funds on the list. It is sandwiched between Living, Breathing Constitution.
Yeah.
It's like the only document that can live and breathe.
Yes.
And Much Maligned.
Right. Who's ever just maligned?
You gotta do it much.
Oh, that much maligned Cowboys
true.
defense.
That's true.
And Jake and me, Eminem is 52.
Wow. Pound for pound.
Dude.
You gotta question,
So
is he the GOAT?
Of course he is.
He's definitely a top 3 MC. I don't know if he's a top 3 artist.
Mount Rushmore for sure. Right? No question.
Yeah, I would say so.
I mean, outside of rap, definitely on rap, but how about all music?
I think, well, I don't know about that, but
Who's on?
each their own is
Okay.
subjected.
Give me Mount Rushmore of rap.
Well, it depends. Obviously, it depends on your era.
I know it's all subjective.
Yeah, and I think also.
But as far as
it might be one of the best-
in totality,
Yeah.
what would you do? M's definitely on there.
Yeah, lyrically, he might, as just a lyricist or a rhymer, MC, he might be the top. But artist-wise, you gotta have Jay-Z.
Agreed.
You probably have.
So you and I are 2 for 2.
You probably have to have Pac and Biggie. I'm just gonna take the chalk here.
What about Nas?
You might have to have Nas was the next one I was thinking, and I don't.
If you had to
I'm not really,
split between
that
Pac
huge
and
into-
Biggie, who do you split between?
I
Do
would-
you go Pac
I would
or do you go Biggie?
Personally,
Who'd you say?
I would take Biggie personally. I listen to a lot more Biggie.
So if you had Biggie, Jay, Nas, and M, would
But-
that be okay?
But also, people who are 10, 15 years older than me with Cool G Rap, Big Daddy Kane, stuff like that. Big L for
Large Professor.
Yeah, I can't speak on all that stuff that much.
I went and saw Common last month.
Common's
That
Basement.
was one of the best.
Where was it?
At the place over by the Mavs facility.
Echo Lounge?
Yeah, at Echo Lounge.
Hell yeah.
It was incredible. Like one of the better shows I've seen in ages as a show.
Yeah, I believe it, dude. Common's Basement Evolution.
And Pete Rock was with him too.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Basement Evolution is entirely produced by Kanye, and it's incredible. That's the one.
That's the new album, right?
No, it's the first.
Okay,
one of the first ones.
okay.
But he still does songs from it. He did the food on Chappelle with Kanye.
Well, his whole stage set was to look like a basement. It was essentially a one-act play with him and Rock up there going through the 50-year history of hip-hop.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Anyway,
it's awesome.
Sorry to.
Yeah, no. So I don't know that
off.
because also there's artists that have some of my favorite albums that I wouldn't put on Mount Rushmore, like Clips. Hell Hath No Fury, maybe my favorite album outside of Reasonable Doubt, but I wouldn't put Clips up there. You know who cares about this? Probably no one.
So,
except Danny and I.
I'm going to flip this order. We're going to
Danny
go
and me.
Dead on This Day, Still Dead first. Because we just have Michael Hossack. Danny?
Michael Hossack? Is that a music dude?
The drummer for the Doobie Brothers.
No, I don't know him.
Born on This Day, Now Dead. We have a couple big ones. Evil Knievel.
Oh. Okay. I'm older than you guys. Rob, you probably remember this. Sitting around the TV sometime in the 70s.
Sounds awesome.
Watching him attempt to jump Snake River Canyon.
Where is that, like Montana or something?
Was it Colorado? I don't even know. Nevada.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's.
No, I've seen.
Well, this was in the rocket thing. This was hyped so much. Yeah, this is Caesar's Palace. Is this when he crashed? Dude,
oh, wow.
There's one where he wipes out so bad, and it happened the next day at school. Everybody said, Evil Knievel broke every bone in his body but his skull.
Yeah, I love that.
Every
solid
bone
playground
out of what is it, 212 or 203?
I'm going to go with you.
Yep.
Yeah, he broke 200 of his bones in that motorcycle accident. But yeah, that freaking. You talk about bang to hype ratio on the Snake River Canyon jump. That was a whole lot of nothing.
He knew how to sell it, though.
Yeah, that was like whacking off drunk for an hour and then just quitting because you know it's not going to happen. Watching that fucking thing.
Is there anything more depressing than the moment you give up? It's not because you. And here's why. Let me tell you why. Because for at least a couple minutes, you've been thinking about giving up, but you didn't.
And that doesn't help. When you start, the second the thought enters your mind, I should probably stop.
Yeah.
That's when you should stop.
Nope.
No, you're
like,
10 more
maybe,
minutes.
maybe. I don't know. Let's see. I think I got it. I think I can overcome this. Back in my like, there's not a chance. Give it up, kid. Throw in the towel.
It's 4 a.m. You got to get up the next day. Like, oh.
You got to do better.
You wake up with a completely unused tissue and like half your pants. All right, what else, Blake?
Why do you want to stop? Speaking of like playground rumors, this guy was another one, at least in my era. Robert Atkins, he invented the Atkins diet.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
I always
everybody's
heard
mom was on that.
Yeah, and I always heard, he died from a heart attack because of his own diet.
I don't think so.
That's what we were spreading.
I don't think that's true.
Well,
because all he ate
either
was meat, eggs, and cheese
yeah, because
for every meal.
You just ate a buttload of bacon.
Seriously.
Well, it does say that his coronary arteries were 30 to 40% blocked, so that does
could be hereditary.
That
But,
does, yeah.
All right, Margot Kidder, the original Lois Lane, was born on this day, now dead. Irene Ryan, the granny from Beverly Hillbillies. Rita Hayworth, and then a big one. And this is why, honestly, Dan's not here today.
He took time off to mourn?
Norm Macdonald.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Born on this day, now dead.
Oh. How long's he been? 2 years?
I would say
3?
3 if I had to guess, but who can say?
So for the Open, I
2021.
couldn't decide between these two. I guess I ultimately did decide. I went with the Norm Macdonald 9/11 joke. But if I didn't pick that one, it was going to be this one.
Norm was on Saturday Night Live. Norm tells the best fucking stories about some of those celebrities that went through there. And Matthew Perry had an assistant and said, he said to Norm, Matt wants to do a sketch that he wants you to be in where he talks like he does on Friends. He calls it Matt Speak. And Norm said, what are you talking about? He goes, well, he invented a way of talking, the way he talks on Friends, Matt Speak. And he showed him a clip, and Norm said, are you talking about sarcasm? Matthew Perry called sarcasm. He renamed it Matt Speak.
Hilarious.
I think one of the younger writers said, I think Matthew Perry is a genius. And I think that's what it was. And Norm said, is he good at math or something?
It's great, and it's not even Norm telling the joke.
No.
So good.
Was he good at math or something?
And that was Today in History.
Well, we did it, folks.
How about that?
We
Lot of
did it.
fun.
We'll be
Lot of
back
fun.
tomorrow on the Patreon. We'll have picks with Dan, with my dad. And yeah, until then, holler at me.
Adios, mofo.
We gotta go before this becomes a zoo.
Thank you for watching my video. Subscribe and type for my name if you want to watch more of my videos.
No puppet.